Hello guys, I have a good news for you. As you can see, I am providing CA Inter costing lectures for free of cost. Few things which I would like to tell you, that is, first of all, these lectures are free. You can access them. Okay, my name is CA Rahul Panchal, and yeah, you are going to get the lectures for CA Inter costing. Again, that is for free. Sir, what will be the duration? The duration will be approximately 130 hours. That will be your duration. My contact number is 996-773-6613. Just in case you have any doubt with reference to this, you can just WhatsApp on this number. And one more thing, I'm launching few books and again a crash course of costing and accounts also. So just in case you want to buy that in future, you can save this number for that matter. And my Insta ID will be lost in cost. Okay, and if you want notes, that is question bank for this course which you are going to watch, or even the solution part, what you can do is you can check the description. In the description and in the comment box, link will be given, Google Drive ka link will be given. That's it. And lectures will be conducted in basic English language. So just I can say just all the best guys, start watching the lectures. Bye bye. Yeah, bye bye. Okay, now we are starting with the question which is connected with unit and batch costing, which is similar to cost sheet. The only thing will be you will have to calculate cost per unit. That's it. So let's read the question, you will have understanding. The following data relate to the manufacture of standard product during the 4-week ended 20th February 2020. So data is given with reference to 4 weeks, that is clear. Okay, data is given for you can see that raw material, direct wages. If you add this, what you get is your your prime cost. Okay, then this is with reference to overheads, as in when you work for 1 hour you charge 40 rupees and you guys have worked for 3200 hours. This is your factory overhead, that is other than your material and labor, this is incurred. Then office overhead is 10% of works cost. Then there is a selling overhead. Then units produced and sold 10,000 at the rate of rupees 120. You are required to find out the cost per unit and the profit for 4-week ended. Okay, so let us just finish it off. It is very much easy. First of all, we can make units column. Acha, one thing for this question, whether opening and closing stock of finished goods, will it be there or it will not be there? Stock of finished goods, it will be there, yes or no? Stock of finished goods, it will not be there now, because there is one line in the question, units produced and sold 10,000. so if you produce 10,000, if you sell 10,000, no information is given, there is no stock. Whatever you guys have produced, that has been sold. It is that simple. Okay, now let's make the cost sheet. When you make the cost sheet, what was asked at the end was you are required to find out cost per unit and the profit, or you can just give heading as the cost sheet. You can just give a heading as a cost sheet. When you give heading as cost sheet, you will say particulars, then you will say total, and yeah, per unit column will come because data is given for units. There are 10,000 units. Fadafat chalo, let us write it down. If you write down the first thing which is there in the question is raw material, then there is a wages. So please write that. Okay, the first thing is raw material, then there is a wages. So direct material and direct labor, or direct wages, you can say direct material, direct wages. Once that is being added, what the answer which you get, that will be known as prime cost. If you refer the question, the value is 4 lakh and 2,40,000. So here it is 4 lakh, here it is 2,40,000, that will become 6,40,000 as a prime cost. Okay sir. Okay, again, then there are overheads. That overhead rate is given, actually machine hours worked 3,200 in factory, and every hour we have incurred 40 rupees as machine hour rate. This is known as overhead absorption rate. That will be studied in detail when we learn in chapter known as overheads, how to calculate this 40 rupees also. That we'll study when you learn overheads chapter. Okay, so machine hour rate 3,000, we work for 3,200 hours, every hour we incur 40 rupees as overhead. So add factory overhead We are working for 3200 hour. Every hour you incur 40 rupees. So once you add that, it will be 1,28,000 plus 6,40,000, that becomes 7,68,000. This will be your, first of all, you will say gross factory cost, because in the question no information is given, that then with reference to WIP, that will become your factory cost. Now they have provided with this which is this. Now office overhead. Now if you talk about office overheads, only office overheads is written, nothing is specified in the question, and it is written, it is 10% of works cost. Acha, please write in bracket if at all you have a hard copy, or it will be written later on once you get the hard copy. It is related to production. Please write it down. It is related to production. It is related to production. So if you write down this as it is related to production, which is 10% of works cost. Acha, this is nothing but this factory cost is nothing but also known as works cost. In QRAP there is one thing which is office overhead, or you can say office and administration overhead, and office and administration overheads are 10% of works cost. So when you say 10% of work cost, that is 7,68,000 into 10%, that becomes 76,800. Once you add that, you will get cost of production, which is this. एक second, I think I made wrong total. The total is 8,44,800. Okay. Once you get your cost of production, because in this question you can see information with reference to closing and opening stock is not given, or I can say that production is equal to sold. Whatever you guys have produced, you have sold those units. So here we can say that whatever is your COP, that will become your COGS, that is cost of production will be equal to cost of goods sold, and at that time you will incur selling and distribution overheads, and that selling and distribution overhead is 20 rupees per unit. Sales overheads are, so how many units are there? You can see that there are 10,000 units, so 20 rupees per unit, and there are 10,000 units. That will become 2 lakh. And yes, that will be 1044800. This is your cost of sales. You will add profit. So now you understand the importance of cost sheet format in the entire costing that will be used. So it is better if you just by heart that format. Yes, sales is given in the question. You have sold 10,000 units. You can see at what rate? At the price of rupees 120. So 10,000 into 120. Here you can say 10,000 units are being sold at rupees 120. You will get 12 lakh as your sales, and it's 1044800 and 155,200, and you will get the profit. Acha. Now once you get the profit, now if I ask you to calculate CPU, it is very easy. How many units are there? You can see there are 10,000 units. So all the cost will be divided by 10,000 and you will get your cost per unit. So if you divide by 10,000, so 4 lakh divided by 10,000, that will become 42,40,000. That will become 24. Hello?
Can you please send this PDF on WhatsApp on the group?
Which one? This question?
Yes, sir.
So you don't have this PDF with you?
No, sir. No, sir.
That is what I was asking na at the beginning, that whether do you have this PDF or not. Maybe then I think okay.
So we told we had material costing का, we did not have this one.
मटेरियल कॉस्टिंग का ये क्वेश्चन बैंक और पास्ट पेपर
पास्ट पेपर्स
अच्छा ठीक है अभी मैं भेजूँ और ये अगेन चलो okay fine as of now at least can you manage for this question. Let's finish this question first. Okay so now we can see that everything is done now for this question. So I just need to like calculate the prices. So I will have to divide by this one, like 28,000, so it will be 12.8, 7,68,000, that will be 76.8, 7.68, please write down 844,800, 84.48, 2 lakh, which is 20, 104.48, 120. So that is how your format will be. Unit costing, it means cost will be calculated for unit basis for every unit. Okay, so that is the solution for this question. That's it, and we are done with this. Okay guys, so let's start with the new concept, which name is classification of cost. Now cost can be classified. When I talk about cost is direct cost, then it is indirect cost, then in that there is direct material, then there is direct labor, then there is direct expenses, then there is a factory overhead, office overhead, and selling and distribution overhead. This is also a classification of cost, but this classification is based on functions. The classification of cost is based on function, that is which that this part is factory overhead, this part is selling and distribution. But now again we are going to classify the cost, but that classification will be based on behavior. Like if we have a batch and in this batch there are students, now I can divide students based on various classifications. The first basis can be male and female, that is girls and boys, we can say. The another classification can be those who study, those who do not. Another classification, those who do homework, those who do not. So classification can be made on different basis. Now the basis will be based on behavior. So please give the heading classification of cost based on behavior. Based on behavior. Now behavior in the sense behavior with the output here, that is something which we are going to see. Behavior with the output. So when you talk about the behavior of the cost can behave in three ways. The first one will be the variable cost. The second one will be the fixed cost based on its behavior, and the another one is semi-variable cost. First understand this. Cost can be variable, fixed and semi-variable. I feel that, or I don't know why, but I feel that you know something about this. So would you like to explain something as to, sir, this cost is known as variable cost, and sir, this cost is known as fixed cost? Please explain this. Hello.
सर लेबर रॉ मटेरियल वो सारे जो कॉस्ट रहते हैं वो वेरिएबल रहते हैं. समझो अगर चॉकलेट्स का डिमांड बढ़ गया तो उसके ऊपर जो रॉ मटेरियल बनाने में दैट विल इंक्रीज. चॉकलेट बनाने के लिए जो मशीन, जो फैक्ट्री, वो सब लगता है, दैट इज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, बिकॉज चॉकलेट का डिमांड बढ़ रहा है, दैट डजंट मेक अ डिफरेंस. उसका जो कॉस्ट है, मतलब जो मशीनरी, लैंड, वो सब वो भरना ही पड़ता है. एंड सेमी वेरिएबल आई एम नॉट श्योर.
Acha. So you want to see like this? I can simply put it like I can put in this way, that because of increase in quantity, if your cost also increases in the same proportion, that will be variable cost. Vary means change. We can say that if you go to the for example, let us say that if you go to the one shop where you are going to buy ice creams, okay, let us say this is ice cream which you are going to buy. The cost of an ice cream is, let us say, 10 rupees per unit. Okay, now if you go at that shop and if you say that I need 5 ice creams, what he will say? You need 5 units. Okay, into 10 rupees per unit, you will have to pay 50 rupees. Now you say, no sir, I want 7 units. Then in that case you will have to pay 70 rupees. You can see that if there is increase in quantity, your cost has there is a direct relationship. If quantity increases, your cost will also increase. Okay, but to buy that ice cream, let us say you travel by your vehicle, let us say you have a bike or whatever it is, car let us say, and there is a transportation cost, or I can say cost of petrol, which you will have to bear, and that cost is, let us say, 100 rupees for this journey to and fro. You will go and you will come again at home, and for that matter you will have to pay 100 rupees. Now I hope you understand, it does not matter how many ice creams you are thinking to buy, irrespective of the number of ice creams, this cost will remain 100 only. Whether you buy 1 ice cream, 2, 3 or 4, this cost will remain 100. It means this cost does not have any relation with the ice creams, that is with the production or with the units, doesn't matter, it will remain 100 only. So this will be known as a fixed cost. Same is the case, we can say, we can take now one company ka example. Here, if this is my factory, in my factory, suppose if I pay rent, this is the best example, like rent, ekdam common example. Now even when I say fixed cost, everyone must have assumed about rent only. Yeah sir, rent is a fixed cost, simple hai. Okay, now suppose you pay 1 lakh rupees as a rent. Now you know that rent is always paid in totality. Let us say it is per month rent. It is rent per month, 1 lakh rupees. Now it does not matter how many units you guys produce, irrespective of the fact, or is irrespective of number of units, you guys will have to pay 1 lakh rupees. It does not have any connection with the production activity. So it remains constant. It is fixed. In totality, in total it will remain 1 lakh only. So fixed cost is that cost which does not change, but to produce this unit you require raw material, to produce this unit you require labor. Let us say material is required 10 rupees 1 unit, and to labor you pay 15 rupees for 1 unit. Now if you produce 5 units, you will require a material costing rupees 50. It means if you increase number of units, your cost will also increase in that proportion. That is your variable cost, we can say. Variable means changeable. If quantity increases, your cost will also increase in that proportion. Like suppose if you buy 10 ice creams, you will have to pay 10 rupees for every ice cream, you will have to pay 100 rupees. See, if you buy 2 ice creams, you will have to pay 20 rupees. Okay, now I can tell you one thing. Tell me your total variable cost, it is same or it is changing? Hello, your total variable cost, it is same or it is changing with the production? It is changing with the production, right? But can I say, if I talk about per unit, tell me, from your shopkeeper you bought 10 ice creams, and for every ice cream you paid 10 rupees, so you paid 100 rupees. So per unit cost is 10. Here also per unit cost is 10. Can I say that variable cost changes in totality, but per unit cost is always constant? So if I write like this, if you have any doubt, just let me know. Variable cost means I can say it remains constant in per unit. Per unit it will remain constant, like 10 rupees per ice cream multiplied by whatever number of units you buy, you will have to multiply and you will get the cost if you multiply by units. Now if I talk about fixed cost, it remains constant. It remains constant in, not per unit, it will remain constant in total. No matter how many ice creams you buy, your cost of petrol will remain same, that you will have to pay 100 rupees for your petrol, that is transportation cost. So that is, it will remain constant in total, and variable cost will remain constant in per unit. Is it clear? Please say yes so that I can proceed. Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Fair enough. So now I have to go, just a second. Okay, now let's just delete this part, and please write this with me. Okay, please write this much if you haven't written yet, so please write this much. If I talk about semi-variable cost, it means it is partly variable and I can say it is partly fixed. Okay sir, so partly variable and partly fixed, we can say that is your semi-variable cost. Okay, so now having done this, let us take a few examples so that we will have more clarity. Okay, now for the purpose of example, I can give you a few examples over here. Example will be, here I can say material and labor is your variable cost. Here I can say rent or salary of supervisor. There is a supervisor who is working in our factory and we pay him, let us say 10,000 per month or 20,000 per month. Now it does not matter how many units we produce, still his salary will be same only for 1 month. That is, in totality you will pay the same amount. In total it will remain same. Salary of supervisor, you can say salary of supervisor. Here when I say semi variable cost, now please try to explain as to what is semi variable. When I say semi variable, sir, it is partly variable and partly fixed. Tell me any example from your side for semi variable cost.
Sir, are these those costs which remain fixed up to a certain extent and then they start varying?
Okay, that can be said. That is a step ladder cost. We say it is like this. Okay, but here now the point which I am going to cover is different, and that is a semi-variable cost. That is also semi-variable cost. Actually, there are different kinds of semi-variable costs. I am discussing one type. For example, I can tell you. Let us see if I talk about electricity. Please first write it down. Electricity. Then the second example we can write as auto fare. Okay, now let us understand this. Now if I talk about electricity first, suppose if we talk about electricity, generally how the bill amount is calculated. First of all, if we are here, electricity bill is cost for us. Okay, this is our factory, so I can say electricity bill, whatever we have to pay, that is cost for us. Now let us say the bill amount is 1000 or whatever that amount is. I just want to know how that bill amount is calculated. So now there is one meter which is there, like in our bike and in our car there is a meter which indicates how many kilometers we have traveled till now. Same way there is one meter which is there in our society. You can see that in there will be one section where meters are kept, and one person will come, will do the reading of those meters. Kia, as of now the meter shows 100 units. After 1 month he came and it was indicated that now there are 150 units. So I can say that how many units we have consumed. So during this month we have consumed 50 units. Okay, now if during this month if we have consumed 50 units, what they will do, for every unit let us say they charge 10 rupees, so they will charge 500 rupees. For that, whatever consumptions we have done, we have consumed 50 units. How you consumed? When you are using electricity, after a certain, like if this much electricity is used, 1 unit will be consumed. Okay, so we have consumed 50 units, so bill is 500 plus they will add 100 rupees also, and the bill amount will be 600. Why, sir, these 100 rupees are added? These 100 rupees are added for the rent where the meter is kept, for that matter, and then the person who came and then he did that reading of the meter, and then there was a printing cost which company has incurred. There is an administration cost which is there. So after that allocation, company says that we will always add 100 rupees for those activities, rent, then the charges of that person who came for reading of the meter, and then there is administration and printing of that bill. So including all, we are charging this. So now suppose there is a possibility that due to COVID or some any other reason, your let us say your house was vacant, no one was there. So for entire 1 month no one was using electricity, obviously, because no one was there. Okay, it was switched off, the main switch was off. Okay, now I can say that still the bill came to 100 rupees. Now it should not be the surprise for you, because company is going to charge this much, 100 rupees every year, every month company will charge 100 rupees. Okay, so now what is the case here? I can see that this 100 rupees is a fixed cost. When the bill came for 600 rupees, out of 600 rupees, 100 rupees was a fixed cost and 500 was based on your consumption, so it was a variable cost. Now if I combine both these and then whatever answer you get, that 600 is a semi-variable cost, because it includes fixed element also and it includes a variable element also. Now let us not complicate the example. I can give you one of the easiest example by which you will understand. If I talk about auto fare, let us say if you sit in auto, you know that if the meter is down, minimum 20 or 21 rupees you will have to pay. Now no matter where you go, minimum that once you sit in the auto rickshaw, you will have to pay 21 rupees. Now, after that, suppose you have traveled for some kilometers and your bill came to, just wait, so here I go. So I can say that let us say that the minimum bill was 21 rupees per in auto rickshaw, but bill came to, let us say, 40 rupees. So out of 40, 21 was something which was fixed when you were there in auto. Then extra came because you have traveled for more than what was desired. There are various examples also. Let us say that is not the case now, but earlier we used to take a plan, rental plan, like for mobile phone, that you will have to pay 500 rupees per month and you will get 500 minutes talk time. Okay, 500 minutes talk time. Suppose if I use only 400 minutes ka talk time, still I will have to pay 500 because it is a fixed amount. But if I use more than 500 minutes, suppose I have used 600 minutes, then they will charge me for this extra 100 minutes, and the bill came to minimum 500 was fixed as a rental, and then because I have used extra 100 minutes, bill came to extra 100, and that is 600. So out of this 600, 500 was fixed every month. This came because I have my usage has it is more than 500 minutes which was given by that company. I hope this many examples are sufficient for you to understand that what is semi-variable. Semi-variable is nothing but okay, that is that cost which is partly fixed and partly variable. Now, having said that, let me create one example and I would like to see whether you are able to calculate this or not. So please write one concept example with me. Write one example with me. After writing this, write one example just to have some clarity. Okay. Now, if you talk about example, I can see particulars, then particulars. Then we will say 100 units and 200 units, 101, 120 units, let us say 100 units and 120 units. Now, there are three costs: material, labor, not labor, rent, electricity. Now my cost is 1000, 2700, then 1200, 2000 and 740. Let's take the total. That comes to 3700 and 3940. Calculate the total cost if company produces. $150 units. Okay, please answer this. Calculate the total cost if the company produces 150 units. Now I would like to calculate the cost for this. If my production is 150, what will be my total cost? Okay, I know what is if I produce 100 units, what is my cost. If I produce 120 units, what is my cost, that I know. I would like to calculate the cost for 150 units. Now, for that matter, if you solve this question, first what is very important is classification of cost. Can you tell me which cost is fixed and why? Out of these three, rent. Why it is fixed? Because you can see whether you produce 100 or whether you produce 120, irrespective of increase in units, we can say the cost remains constant in total. That is 2000 only. That is, it remains constant in total, you can see. So we will write that. So please write like this. When the question comes, you will write always like this in examination. So first you will make working note number 1. That is classification of cost. Have you written the question, or I will wait? If you are writing, I will wait for 10 to 15 seconds. Please write it down. Done. Okay. Now if we talk about this, that is classification of cost. Okay. When you talk about classification of cost, first we will always identify fixed cost, that is A. I will write like this. FC means fixed cost. You can write that abbreviation somewhere else, or here only you can write it is FC, it is VC, and it is semi-variable cost, that is SVC. We will write like this. Okay. VC, FC, and SVC. Okay. Now, so FC remains constant in total. Therefore, you can see 2000, 2000. Therefore, rent is fixed cost. Rupees 2000. So, out of these three costs, first I am clear that which one is your fixed cost. Now, the second thing is you need to calculate the variable cost. So, variable cost remains constant. Sorry, I forgot to write this. Constant remains constant in total, remains constant in per unit. Please write like this. Variable cost remains constant in per unit. Now, material will be your variable cost, because if you calculate, you will understand. Here, let me write material. Then here only two expenses are left, that is material and electricity. Here the cost is there for 100 units, and here the cost is there for 120 units. How do you calculate per unit cost? It is very easy. Your cost is 1000 for 100 units. So per unit will be 1000 divided by 100. So your per unit cost is 10. I can see here it is 10 per unit. And here electricity will be 700 divided by 100, that is 7 per unit. Okay. Now, let us calculate this for 120 units. Your cost was 1200 for 120 units. So 1200 divided by 120, it is 10 per unit. Then 740 divided by 120, that will be 6.17 per unit. Here per unit is same in this case, per unit is same. Here you can see this. Therefore material will be there, for material is variable cost. Therefore material is variable cost. I can say rupees 10 per unit. It is always incurred in per unit basis, like ice cream cost. It is 10 rupees per unit. Achha, once this is clear, we will now we can easily tell that if you talk about the electricity cost, it is not fixed cost because it is changing. So it is not fixed cost. It is not constant in total. It is not constant in per unit also. So it means it is semi-variable. There is some portion of like I can say some portion is fixed and partly it is variable. Now we will have to bifurcate that. Okay. So in C part I can say therefore the only cost which remains is your electricity. Semi-variable cost. Now, once you find the electricity as a semi-variable cost, as and when you have any semi-variable cost, you will always have to make the working for that. Okay. So after working note number 1, we are always going to prepare working note number 2, that is the semi-variable cost. If you are done with this, I will switch to the next page. Okay. Hello. Done. ठीक है. Now let us make the second working note, that is working note number 2, which is with reference to semi-variable cost. Okay, if we talk about semi-variable cost, the example is electricity over here. So I can write electricity. The data which is given in the question is with reference to 100 units, 120 units. I need my cost for 150 units. Okay, sir. Because it is semi-variable cost, partly it will be variable. So I will write variable cost and partly it will be fixed. That is fixed cost. Then here you get your total cost, total semi-variable cost, that is total cost. Now, what is given in the question? What is given in the question is, sir, when you produce 100 unit, you will have to pay 700 in total. I don't know the bifurcation, but I know though in totality I will have to pay 700 rupees. Okay, sir, when I produce 120 units, I will have to pay 740 rupees. Okay, that is something which I know. Now tell me, what is your now in this case, if there is increase in quantity, if there is increase in quantity by 20 units, you can see here, if there is increase in quantity by 20 units, your cost has increased by 40. That is, I can say here plus 20 units. If you increase your units by 20, your cost has in plus 40 rupees is your cost. Cost has increased by 40 rupees. If there is increase in units by 20, your cost has increased by 40 rupees. Tell me, because of increase in quantity, if the cost has also increased, this cost is which cost, whether it is variable or whether it is fixed cost? Because of increase in quantity, cost has also increased. That cost represents, this increase in cost is variable, because fixed is something, even though you increase the quantity, it will remain same only. So something which has increased is nothing but variable cost, which has increased because of the quantity. So let us calculate variable cost per unit. If I calculate variable cost per unit, the formula will be change in cost upon change in quantity, or change in units you can say. So I can say that the cost has changed by it has increased by 40 rupees. You can see that when it happened, when your quantity has increased by 20. So it means as and when you have produced one extra unit, you have incurred 2 rupees for that extra unit. So this is your variable cost per unit. As and when you produce one unit, you guys incur 2 rupees. That is very simple. This indicates when you produce 20 units, you guys have incurred 40 rupees. Simple as that. Acha. Now, once you get this rate of 2 rupees per unit, it can be written over here. Your variable cost is 2 rupees per unit. Okay. So now tell me, when you are producing 100 units, I hope you understand your cost must be 200 in that case. When you produce 120 units, your cost will be 240 because it is 2 rupees per unit. When you produce 150 units, your cost will be 300. Now the question arises, sir, when you produce 100 units, your variable cost will be into 2, that is 200. Then why my total cost is 700? Because there is fixed portion also. Just take the balancing figure. Your fixed cost is 500, and you can see that here also it is 500 because it is fixed portion, that is minimum portion that you will always have to pay. It is like mobile, we can say that rental of mobile, 500 is minimum, then based on your consumption it will increase. Let us, for every 1 minute you will have to pay 2 rupees. For 100 minutes it is 200, and then 500 was fixed that you have to pay. Now if you talk for 150 minutes, or let us say 150 units are produced, you will have to pay 300, which is variable portion. There is one fixed portion also, that is 500 you will have to pay, and your cost will be 800. Now I have showed you only one method to solve this question. Okay, this to get this 800, there are various methods which can be used. One of the methods is X method. You can assume the cost as X and then you can solve this, but I'm not complicating the things. One method is sufficient for us. If you have any doubt in this method, you can ask me. What you could have done is like this also, but let's not do like this. Given your cost, this was 100, your cost was 700. When this was 120, your cost is 740. So if there is increase in cost by 20, your cost has increased by 40. I want to know the cost for 150. So if I increase my units by 30, my cost will increase by 60. I hope you understand. If increase in units is 20, your cost will increase by 40. So if there is increase in units by 30, your cost will increase by 60 and it will become 800. That is 740 plus 60. There are n number of ways by which you can get the answer, but I feel this is the best presentation and easiest way for us. There are n number of ways by which you can get the answer, but I feel this is the best method. Okay. Please, if you have any doubt in your mind, you can ask me, sir, please repeat this or please explain this. Otherwise, the always assumption will be you guys have understood, just in case if you do not ask any doubt. Achha. So I hope that is clear. Now, when I say that is clear, what was asked in the question, what these guys were asking is, sir, calculate the total cost if company produces 150 units. So statement showing total cost. Now that is the final answer. Statement showing total cost. Particulars amount. I can say that the first cost which you incur is material, or let us write about first fixed cost. The first cost was the fixed cost. In working note number 1A we have written that will be always 2000 rupees. So first I am writing rent as 2000 in totality. Rent. After rent, the B part which we have written is variable cost, that is material, which is 2 rupees per unit. So material, if it is 2 rupees per unit and the cost is being calculated for 150 units, so it is 300, and then
that is 10 rupees per unit.
Sorry, let me check. Sorry, my mistake. It is 10 rupees per unit. You can see this 10 rupees material is okay. So it is 10 rupees. You have to multiply by 10. 10. So that becomes 1500. And then there is the electricity. For that you can refer the above working note and the cost is 800. Okay. If you refer above working note, just take the total. 2000 plus 1500 plus 800, and that becomes 4300 as your total cost. And we have completed this concept. We have completed this concept of what? A classification of cost based on behavior of the cost with units. If units are increasing, if cost is also increasing, cost has also increased, it means behavior is variable. Units have increased but cost is still constant in total, it means it is a fixed cost, its behavior is fixed, constant. Then there is a semi-variable cost. Acha. So that was the case. Suppose now if I tell you, chalo, theek hai, this much is done. One more thing I wanted to discuss. First of all, I think you are done with this. Now suppose in this question if I write and tell you material cost has increased by 10%. So that 10% effect will be given where? So you need to understand, if I tell you material cost has increased by 10%, so what you will do is, earlier my cost was 10 rupees, now it will increase by 10%. So let us say now I will have to pay 11 to my supplier and then it will be 150. It means if there is an increase in cost, the effect will be given in total column or per unit column. So effect will be given in per unit column, which if the cost is variable cost, effect will be given in the per unit column like this. I generally incur 10 rupees per unit. Now I will have to pay 11 rupees per unit because cost has increased by 10% because of inflation. But if I tell you that my rental cost has increased by 10%, so tell me, effect will be given in per unit column or total column? My electricity cost, rental cost has increased by 10%. I hope you understand. Effect will be given in the total column. In the earlier month, my rent was 2000 in totality. Now I will have to pay 2000 plus 10%. अरे you need explanation or you are getting it whatever I am saying as to that material के लिए you will have to give effect in per unit column and for rent you will have to give effect in total column. Hello?
Understood, sir.
Understood. Fine. Now ठीक है, so fine, so this concept is over. Now we will solve the question, and when we solve the question, now I will expect answers from your side. We took half an hour, not half an hour, we can say 34 minutes to explain this concept. Okay, fine. Okay, now let's read the question. What is given? This question is based on classification of cost. Okay, Atharva Pharmaceuticals Limited produced uniform type of a product and has a manufacturing capacity of 3000 units per week of 48 hours. Something which is important is we can produce 3000 units per week, and in 1 week we work for 48 hours. Okay, now we can say how you got 48 hours. So generally we can say that every day company works for 8 hours. So this company works for 6 days. So Sunday is holiday, so every day we work for 8 hours. So in 6 days, in 1 week we work for 6 days, 6 into 8. Okay, I just gave you the calculation how you must have got that 48. Okay, now from the records of the company, the following data are available relating to the output of 3 consecutive weeks. So details are given. Details is given with reference to 3 consecutive weeks. Okay, week 1, week 2, week 3. What is given is we have manufactured this many units in week 1, then week 2, week 3. Okay, sir. And this is my direct material cost, this is my direct wages cost, then this is my factory overhead cost. Okay, now guys, you will have to identify as to if there are 3 costs which are given in the question. One is direct material, second one is direct labor, then there is a factory overhead. Which one is variable cost and which one is fixed cost? That is something you guys will have to identify. So let us calculate per unit here only, so it would be easy for me to understand that. Let us calculate per unit. I can say that how do you calculate per unit? It is your cost, it will be divided by 1200 units, then you will get per unit cost, that is 9000 divided by 1200. You are getting 7.5. You can write 7.5. 12,000 divided by 600. You are getting 7.5. 13,500 divided by 1800. You are getting 7.5. Just go for 2 weeks. You will understand that whether it is variable or whether it is fixed. I hope you understand. This will be which cost? Variable cost. Right? Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Chalo, tell me about direct wages, whether it is variable or whether it is fixed. Make your calculations and just tell me whether it is variable or whether it is fixed.
Sir, 333 variable.
Variable. Let's calculate, which is 1200 divided by 3600 divided by 1200, that becomes 3. Again 1600 into 3, it tallies. Okay, 1800 into 3, it tallies 5400. So it is also variable cost. Very easy. In which was there was a hint also. Direct, it was written as direct. If something is direct, it means it will be variable only. But okay, we have calculated and we have understood that yes sir, this is variable, this is also variable. Now let's talk about factory overhead. First of all, you just need to check whether it is fixed cost or not. Is it constant in total? No sir, it is changing. If suppose something like this is written, then your job is very easy. Here also 31,000, here also 31,000, here also 31,000 instead of this, then the job was very easy. But no, it is not fixed cost. Now let us see whether it is variable overhead or whether these are fixed overhead. So let us calculate per unit. 31,000 divided by 1200, you will get 25.83. Then 33,000, so 20.62. you don't have to go further. From here only you can understand that yes, this is a semi variable cost. 18.89. the per unit is, see, cost is not constant in total, cost is not constant in per unit. It means it is neither variable nor fixed, it is semi variable. Okay, we know that how to deal with this. Now what is written in the question is, assuming the company charges profit of 20% on selling price, find out the selling price per unit when the weekly output is 2000. First of all, the data is given with reference to per week. Acha, do you have any idea with reference to this? If the profit is 20% on selling price, then how you write karke? That cost plus profit, you get selling price, then you say profit is 20% on selling price, then this will be 80. Hello.
Sir.
So if I give you 2-3 minutes, Can you give me the answer? At least you can try. I'm not saying right answer, but you can try for this, and I expect maximum right answers because I have already explained the concept, and yeah, we have discussed few things. So now please give me the answer, then we will write it down. I'm giving you 2-3 minutes. Please go for it. Selling price per unit. Requirement is very much clear. Okay. Answer other than this, I will say wrong. I just need selling price per unit. Please make some calculations in rough. We will write it down in fair, but make some rough calculations and send the answers. Dhruvi 9, please check. Arpit, I need selling price per unit. My requirement is very much clear. Okay. I think you gave me the cost. Okay. I need selling price. Arpit, there is one calculation which is there. A company charges 20%.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do not worry, even if your answers are wrong, you guys are like abhi to shuru kiya apne. We just have started with costing. Krish नहीं. I was expecting right answers, but ठीक है, कोई problem नहीं है वैसे. Yes, if my pronunciation wrong, please tell me. Jhansi, right? Yeah, Jhansi. What should I say?
Jansi.
Jhansi. Okay. Jhansi. Okay, right answer. Priyam, nahi.
Sir, I sent you the selling. So you wanted per unit or like individual?
See, it is very much clear. What is written here is selling price per unit. The requirement is very much clear. It is per unit. Selling price per unit. Yeah, Arpit, right answer. Here we go. That was the sufficient time. Okay. Moksha, nahi. I think you forgot something. We'll have a look. Okay, chalo, shuru kar de. Let's start. Here we go. So, if you talk about this, first we always have to make the working note as to classification of cost. So, please write it down. Working note number 1, that is classification of cost. Classification of cost. Those who do not have like hard copy, please take the print like of this, take the screenshot of this so that you can later on write it down, those per units and all. Okay. Now, when I say classification of cost, cost can be classified into 3 parts. A, it can be fixed, or it can be variable, or it can be semi-variable. First, let us write fixed cost. So, what is the feature of fixed cost? Fixed cost remains constant in per unit. Fixed cost remains constant in per unit. Okay. So in this question, no cost is fixed cost. Therefore, no cost is fixed cost, because every cost is changing with the output. So no cost is fixed cost. In this question, we can say, in this question, if I want to add in this question. Okay, sir, we have understood. Now,
Fixed cost remains constant in total, right?
yes, or sorry, no, fixed cost remains constant in total. And this question, no cost is fixed cost, then variable cost remains constant in per unit. Therefore, following are variable cost. Direct material and direct wages. We can show here it is it was 7.5
7.5
and
3.
3, so it is 7.5 per unit, and here it is 3 per unit. Okay, as and when the question comes, solution will be written like this. So this is material which is variable, and then here we go. Then now see, I can say that whatever remains, what remains with us is that factory overhead. So I can say factory overheads. Factory overhead is semi-variable cost. If something is semi-variable, you guys will have to always make the working note 2 for that matter, that is semi-variable cost. You will make the working for that, which is semi-variable cost. Okay, in this question, that is factory overhead, so I can write factory overheads. The data which is given, you can take any 2 weeks. Okay, the data is given for 3 weeks, but it is not necessary that you will have to take 3 weeks. You need change in cost, you need any 2 weeks. It is up to you. You can go for week 1, week 2, week 2, week 3. I'm going week 1 and week 2, so I'm going for week 1 and week 2, that is I'm taking 1200 units, and then you can 1600, so you can take 1800 if you want. Okay, and I need answers for how many units? I need answer for 2000 units. If I produce 2000, what will be my cost? Okay, when I say some any cost is semi-variable cost, that will be divided into 2 parts: variable cost, fixed cost, and then you will get total cost. Now, first we will have to calculate variable cost per unit. If you want to calculate variable cost per unit, you will have to write its formula. First we will write variable cost per unit is equal to, the formula is change in cost upon change in units, or change in quantity, whatever you write, that is okay. Units and quantity means same. Now in this question, if we talk about cost, when you are producing 1200 units, you are incurring 31,000 as a factory overhead cost, and when you are producing 1600 units, you are incurring 33,000 as a factory overhead cost. So I can say that when there was the cost has increased by 2000, which is nothing but 33,000 minus 31,000, and units have increased by 1200, not sorry, it is 400. It is difference of units and difference of cost. So cost has increased by 2000 and the units have increased by 400. So the cost per unit will be 5 per unit. So as and when you produce 1 unit, you incur 5 rupees. That is what we have got. When there was increase in units by 400, your cost has increased by 2000. So for every unit you incur 5 rupees. Once you get that, you can write it over here, 5 rupees per unit. As in when you produce 1 unit, you incur 5 rupees. So if you produce 1200, it will be 1200 into 5, 6000. Then 5 into 1600, 8000. Then 5 into 2000, that becomes 10,000. So as in when you produce 1 unit, you will incur 5 rupees. Okay. So your total cost is 31,000. Out of 31,000, how much is variable? I know that. So my balancing figure will be fixed cost. So my balancing figure will be 25,000. So I know that whether I produce or not, I will have to incur 25,000 as a fixed cost, whatever units I produce. Then 10,000 plus 25,000, this will be 35,000. If you have any doubt, please ask me. This is second time we are writing. We have taken one example earlier. Now this is second time we are writing. So the same working note we are writing second time. So if you have any doubt, again, please let me know. Fine. So we are done with the workings. Now they were asking for find out the selling price per unit. If you read the required part, this much is done. Just let me know, then we can proceed. Okay. Okay, so what they were asking is, yeah, this is not relevant. So what they were asking is this selling price per unit. You can say they were asking for selling price per unit. Okay, when you produce 2000 units. Okay, so now the final answer, selling price per unit. Earlier were working notes, now selling price per unit when weekly output is 2000 units. So particulars amount. They are asking specifically for selling price. So first we will write three costs are there. The first one is direct material. Then direct labor. If you want, you can show bifurcation as a prime cost. Even if you do not show, that is quite okay, because they are not asking for full-fledged cost sheet over here. They are just asking for the selling price and some data is given. In the earlier question, they were specifically asking for a cost sheet, so we have to make that entire cost sheet with bifurcation. Here, even if you do not write prime cost, even if you add all those three elements like material, labor and overheads, that is okay. But let's show that factory overhead. Okay, direct material. If I talk about direct material, it is 7.5 rupees per unit. Here it is 3 per unit, and we are calculating for 2000 units. So into 2000 into 2000. Okay, so 7.5 into 2000, that will be 15,000. Then I can say 3 into 2000, that will be 6,000, and yeah, that will become 21,000. Factory overheads we have calculated in the working note, which is working note number 2. You can give a reference. Bolo.
So they have told us that assuming that the company charges a profit of 20%, find out the selling price per unit. So we'll have to
Add now, and I'm not done with the solution, right? We are in the process only. Once I get the cost, then I will add a profit now. So this is my cost, then I will add my profit here. Then I will get sales. Yeah. Your cost is 56,000. You have done that in foundation, so it is up to you, the way you do. If you know that if it is the profit is 20% on selling price, it is written in the question. Profit is 20% on the selling price, it means it will be 25% on the cost. If you know that, that is very good. That is 1/4 on sales. It means 1/5 on sales means 1/4 on cost. But I don't remember those things. Okay, to be very frank. So what I generally do is profit is 20% on what? Selling price. It means if sales is 100. On sales means take 100 as a sales. If on cost means cost will be taken as 100. So when they say that your profit is 20% on sales, it means if the sales is 100, your profit will be 20. So if the sales is 100, profit is 20, your cost will be 80, sir. Yes, sir. And then just cross multiply. 56 into 20 divided by 80, that will be 14,000 plus 56,000, you're gonna get 70,000 as sales value. But I don't want sales value, I need selling price to divide by number of units. This sales value pertains to how many units? 2,000 units. And your weekly production and sale is 2,000. So what is selling price per unit? That will be 35 rupees. This is final answer. Selling price per unit is 35.
So we don't need to make a CPU column, right?
Yeah, because they are not asking for entire cost sheet, so that is okay even if you do not make that column. But just in case you have a doubt, you can make that column. Okay, there is like not a big deal. You can just divide all the figures by 2000. Okay. Only when they say that make the cost sheet and all, then you have to make that entire HSA format nicely, that CPU column and all. But they just specifically ask you calculate this selling price and all, then that is okay. It is not a full-fledged cost sheet, we can say, where administration, finished goods and everything is coming. But just in case you have a doubt in examination, always make that column. Like once the paper is done, if you are in doubt, make the column of per unit and just finish it off. Okay. Just let me know if you are done with this. Achha. Where you went wrong? Like my question is, generally everyone should have got right answer. Like what you forgot, this or what? Because I think only Arpit and Jhansi gave right answer. Then okay, Jhansi, then Vedant. Okay, Vedant also gave right answer. Okay, ठीक you won't tell me that where we went wrong. That is okay. Then ठीक so this is the answer and we are done with this question. Okay, done. Okay, let us start with the question. Next question. Let's have a look. What is written is, अगर हम पढ़े तो Wonder Limited has a capacity of 1,20,000 units per annum. Okay, sir. And its optimum capacity, that is max you can produce 1,20,000. The production costs are as under, and the details is given with reference to cost. Details with reference to cost is given in the questions. Direct material, you can see it is 90 per unit. Direct labor, it is 60 per unit. Then there is details with reference to overheads. Acha, suppose question is silent. What you generally assume, whether your material and labor cost, it is variable cost or a fixed cost? If question is silent, it is always your variable cost. Okay, ठीक है. Then overheads, they have specified it is your fixed portion, and here we go, that your fixed portion and variable portion. Okay. Now fixed portion, you can assume rent as this fixed cost. Okay, then semi variable cost is there in the question, 20,000. Semi variable cost is 20 lakhs per annum up to 50% capacity, and extra amount of 4 lakh will be, for every 25% increase in capacity or part thereof the production is made in order to ठीक है. Please ignore these 3 lines, we'll come to this later on. As of now, please ignore these 3 lines, okay, just for 4 to 5 minutes. Then if the production program of the factory is indicated below, then how my production will how I will decide my production. So that program of production is given. The management desires a profit of 20 lakh for the year. Okay, so we're gonna earn 20 lakhs for the year, that is at the end of the year I need this much profit. Okay, determine the average selling price at which each unit should be quoted. Okay, that is given. And then production program is actually indicated here. You can see your direct material, your first 3 months you will work at 50% of the capacity. Remaining 9 months you will work at 80% of the capacity. Ignore administration, selling and distribution. Any which ways, if the question is silent, we always ignore administration and selling and distribution. Okay, if it is not given, so we always ignore that. Okay, now what I am asking is, what I need from your side. What I need is, first of all, see, this is important. that is this. Why I have a capacity of 1,20,000 units per annum. This is one thing. Then what is given in the question is this: in the first 3 months I'm going to work at 50% capacity, remaining 9 months I'm going to work at this many at 80% capacity. Tell me, in first 3 months how many units you will produce? Tell me. You have a capacity, you can produce 1,20,000 per annum. In initial 3 months you're gonna work at 50% capacity. How many units will be produced? अर्पित, निशी, नहीं, कितना?
60,000.
नहीं.
In the first,
My requirement is very much clear. In the first 3 months how many units you will produce? In first 3 months.
20,000.
नहीं. Vaishnavi, Arpit, right answer. Vedant, nahi. This is the possibility where you can make the mistake. These are the cases where mistakes can be made actually. Okay, Dhruvi, I think you forgot 10. Okay, that is right now. Okay, it's right. Now understand. See, these are small things where you will make the mistake. That's why I asked you. Understand. Sir, if 1,20,000 units can be made in 1 year, which is per annum, in 3 months how many units you can make, which is 3 by 12. Okay, but sir, it will be done only if you work at 100% capacity, na? Then only this many units can be made. Or in simple words I can say, sir, if 1,20,000 units can be made in 1 year, it means every month you produce 10,000. Yeah, that's why in 12 months you produce 1,20,000. So every month you produce 10,000. Only if 10,000 per month you produce, only if you work at 100% capacity. Sir, in the first 3 months you are working at 50% capacity. It means you won't be producing 10,000. You will be producing only 5,000 for next 3 months. So you will be producing 15,000. Or what you can do is, when you do this, that is 1,20,000 into 3 by 12, you get the answer for 3 months. But that is the answer only when you work at 100%. But you are going to work at 50%. So into multiply by 50%. 1,20,000 into 3 by 12 into 50%, and that answer will be 15,000. So answer should be 15,000. Okay, now please, based on this explanation, at least give me right answer for this. In the next 9 months how many units will be produced? Arbit, right answer. Vaishnavi, right answer. Please participate and send the answers, then I will come to know that you guys are getting something. Otherwise it's the only me who is just talking and writing everything. Okay, Arpit, Vaishnavi, Nishi, right answer. Everyone please participate. Vedant, Krish, right answer. Okay, Jhansi, right answer. Dhruvi, Priyam, right answer. Okay, Priyam, again you forgot 0. Okay, okay, that is okay, but yeah, you got the point. It means okay, no need to worry then. You got the point as to how many units we gonna produce. So let us make one working only for that matter. Working note number 1, production quantity. Working note number 1, which will be with reference to production quantity. Production quantity. Okay, so chalo. Now, what was given in the question is capacity. Capacity 100%, and at that capacity you can produce 1,20,000 units per annum. That was given. Now I need answer for first 3 months. If I talk about first 3 months where we gonna work at 50% capacity, so I can say that 1,20,000 can be produced in 1 year, multiplied by 3 by 12. How many units you will produce in 3 months? Only if you work at 100% capacity. But if you work at 50%, so then into 50%. Your answer will be 1,20,000 into 3 by 12 into 50%. You're gonna produce 15,000 units in first 3 months. Chalo. The same concept can be applied for the next or last 9 months. We can say that is next 9 months. In the next 9 months you're gonna work at 80% capacity. So in that case again 1,20,000 units can be produced in 1 year. So into 9 by 12, in 9 months this many units can be produced. Into, yeah, we're gonna work at 80%. So into 80% capacity, that will be 72,000 units. Okay, we got this. Now, so this is one thing where you can go wrong with reference to units. Now there is again second thing where you can make the mistake, that is your semi-variable cost. So please make the working for semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost. Okay sir. Now if you talk about semi-variable cost, some information is given in the question, that is capacity, and then what is given is cost per annum. Okay, let's have a look and let us understand. Okay, if you talk about this capacity and cost per annum, so in this question, first of all, if I read that much, first write it down. Okay, now based on this, if we just read this part here, okay, your cost is 20 lakhs per annum up to 50% of the capacity. If the company is working at 50% capacity, company will have to pay 2 lakh rupees for entire year. So I can say capacity up to 50%. Your cost will be 20 lakh rupees per annum. Okay sir, so if you work up to 50% capacity, your cost will be 20 lakh rupees per annum. Yes sir, understood. Now extra, it is like this. I can give you an example. Suppose this is my factory. In my factory I have installed one machinery, and with the help of that machinery I can produce 50% of my output. Let us say I can, whatever my capacity is, my capacity is 1,20,000 units, I can produce 60,000 units in 1 year. Okay, per annum I can produce this much. Okay, I have one machinery. Okay, now suppose if I want to work for a greater than 50% capacity, I will have to install one machinery, one small machinery. Again one small machinery will be installed, and that every machinery can produce 25% of the capacity, that is, let us say 30,000 units it can produce. So you will have to buy one machinery, or you will, or I can say you will have to buy one machinery, or I can say that you will have to take one machinery on rent for that matter. The rent will be, that data will be given in the question. As of now, when I am producing, I can say that when I am working at 50% capacity, by working at 50% capacity I can produce 60,000 units in 1 year, and for that matter I will have to pay 20 lakh rupees per annum as my cost, which is a semi-variable cost. But an extra amount of 4 lakh for every 25% increase in capacity or part thereof. It means if I want to increase my capacity by 25%, let us say I want to work at 75% of the capacity, in that case I will have to buy one more machinery, let us say, and the capacity of which is, it can give you 30,000 as output, which is nothing but 25% of my capacity, total capacity. But the higher charges for that machinery or the maintenance charges and all that, combining that, you will have to incur 24 lakh rupees extra. 4 lakh rupees extra. It means I can say that if you want to work above 50%, but I can say above 50%, but I can say up to 75%, then your cost will increase by 4 lakh. So it will become 24 lakh rupees per annum, which is nothing but 20 lakh plus 4 lakh. Suppose this is very important word, that is part thereof. Tell me, if you want to work at 70%, what will be your per annum cost?
24 lakh. 24.
Or you will say like this, ki sir, 25% is 4 lakh rupees, na? when I work at 70%, from 50 I am increasing only 20%, so that is cross multiplication will be done. Will you do like this, yes or no?
No.
No, no, because you will buy that machinery na. So if you buy or if you will take that machinery on rent, on what is important is written is or part thereof. So if your capacity has increased by entire 25% or part thereof, which is 20%, 5%, whatever it is, but for that matter your cost will increase by 4 lakh rupees, whether that capacity has increased by 25 or part thereof, that is or 5% or 10%, still you will have to pay that entire 4 lakh rupees. Okay, so 4 lakh rupees is not for 25%, for 25% or part thereof, any part of it. Okay, you will have to pay 4 lakh. So here I can say again, if you want to increase your capacity by 25%, you will have to install one more machinery. So if you want to work above 75%, but we can say up to that is max capacity, up to 100%, your cost will again increase by 4 lakh rupees, so that will become 28 lakh rupees per annum. Okay, you can say 20 lakh plus 4 lakh plus 4 lakh, twice you have increased, twice 25%, so that becomes 28 lakh. Now I hope this table is very much clear, that if you work at up to 50%, this will be my per annum cost, up to like between this range 50 to 75, this will be my cost. Now one simple question, if I work at 90% capacity, what will be my per annum cost? Tell me. 28 lakh. Okay, now if you have understood this much, tell me what will be my semi-variable cost in initial 3 months? What will be my semi-variable cost in first 3 months?
20 lakh.
नहीं ना, again
28 lakh ही होगा पूरे साल का.
see, first of all I want to know the cost for 3 months now, to understand that this is written per annum na. These are the silly mistakes which are done. When I say sir in the first 3 months, so in the first 3 months I am going to work at 50% capacity, yes sir. So
we need to divide that, because you said it's fixed cost, कितना भी होगा उतना तो देना ही पड़ेगा.
तो देना पड़ेगा ना. मैं क्या बोलता है, if I say 12 months का you have to pay 12 lakh rupees as a rent. If I ask you what is the cost for 3 months, then what will you say? Is it 12 lakh or it is 3 lakh?
4 lakh.
Or I hope you got the point. Like if I say the rent is 12 for 12 months, it is 12 lakh, I agree. But if I ask you for 3 months, then you will have to go for this, not 3 by 12 karke, then you will get the answer.
4 lakh.
No, it will not be 4 lakh. You will say na 20 lakh is per annum. Then it will be 3. First of all, because we are working at 50% capacity, understand that you will see that your cost will be 20 lakh rupees per annum. Now multiplied by, you want for 3 months only, so 3 by 12,
5 lakh.
5 lakh. Acha, tell me one thing, whether it will be done or not. This will be multiplied by again with 50%, because we are working at 50%. Will it be done or it will not be done?
Not be done. It is for 50% only.
It won't be done, because this cost is already at 50%. Okay, this cost is not for 100% capacity. These units were for 100% capacity, that's why we did 50%. Here this cost is itself, when you took this 20 lakh, this 20 lakh was for 50% capacity, so there is no need to again multiply by 50%. This is the final answer. See, again there is a possibility you will forget this here, and here you will forget this, multiplied by 50% multiplied by this, something like this. This mistakes can be done easily. Okay, so please take care of this. This question is quite confusing, then we can say here. Now you have understood, in the next 9 months guys, we're gonna work for 80% capacity, so we must be installing those 2 machineries. My cost will increase to 28 lakh rupees, but that will be per annum cost, sir. Yeah, I am going to work only for 9 months now, so 9 by 12, that will be this. Please, if any doubt, because there is a possibility that you may get confused and you must be having any doubt, so in that case please let me know. Okay, sir, please explain this again, or I feel that this should be the right answer. You can have that argument with me. Okay, fine. So it seems that you have understood. Okay, fine. Now, sir, what they were asking, if we read this, no. So we have understood this question. What was important was these two working notes were quite important. Here, we read this thing, we read this entire thing, and we have understood this, and we have understood this. Okay. Now, when we make the cost sheet, what they are asking for is, let's change the color, maybe it is better color. What they are asking for is, they're asking for a selling price, average selling price. So first 3 months, next 9 months, just take the average, calculate the average selling price. TK at each unit should be quoted. TK, we will calculate the average selling price. Okay, it can be done easily. Now here, if the production program, okay, here we want 20 lakh rupees for entire year. Okay, either you can make one total column of cost sheet, or I will make two columns of cost sheet. First is for first 3 months, and then next 9 months. What they are asking is for selling price. We don't have to make full-fledged cost sheet, ignore admin and all. We just have to calculate the average selling price, determine. They are asking for the selling price. So let us make one cost sheet, or calculation of the selling price, we can say. Give the heading as calculation of selling price. Or when you make the columns, particulars, we will make two columns, first 3 months, then next 9 months. Let me write units also. In the first 3 months, we are going to produce 15,000, then 72,000. 15,000 units and 72,000 units. So now, what are the costs that we will incur? So the first cost will be, if you see this, the first cost which will be incurred is material cost, and there will be a labor cost. So first please write it down, then you will get prime cost, direct material, direct labor. Okay, so first write down this direct material, direct labor. What is given in the question is we incur 90 rupees and 60 rupees. Okay, so 90 and 60 rupees. So in bracket we can write it is 90 rupees per unit. Here it is 60 rupees per unit. So it will be multiplied accordingly. 90 will be multiplied by 15,000. So you get 13,50,000 over here. Multiplied by 72,000. So that will be 64,80,000. Okay, so then if you talk about direct labor, if he produces 1 unit, you give him 60 rupees, multiplied by for 15,000, you will give him 9 lakh rupees. Okay, then 60 into 72,000, you're gonna get 60 into 72,000, you will get 43,20,000. Whatever is your answer, just take the total, and then the final value which you get is your prime cost. Yeah, that will be 108 lakhs, 1 crore and 8 lakhs. $22,50,000. Okay, so that is my answer. That is direct material, direct labor, and you got the final value as your prime cost. Now there are overheads. In case of overheads, 3 types of overheads are given. One is a fixed, then there is a variable, and these overheads are factory overheads only. Why, sir? In which ways we assume that, but it is very specific because they have given administration is not there, selling and distribution is not there given. It means the overheads which are given in the questions are factory overhead only. If you are confused, you can write only overhead, but because I am certain it is factory overhead, I am giving heading as factory overhead. When I give heading as factory overhead, there are 3 types of factory overheads which are given. The first one is a fixed. Okay, so I will write fixed. Acha, now It is up to you. Tell me, how will you divide your fixed overheads between these two parts, in these two columns? How will you divide? The cost is 30 lakh rupees. Tell me how 30 lakhs will be divided, in what ratio? You have two ratios, ratio number 1, ratio number 2. Which ratio you will take, ratio number 1 or ratio number 2?
In ratio number 1.
Ratio number 1.
Any reason?
Because
It is per annum.
And it is a fixed
fixed
cost.
है.
First of all, it is a fixed cost, like rent. So rent is not dependent upon units. Landlord will never ask you as to how many units you have produced. The owner of that factory premises will tell you 3 months are done, pay me the rent. 9 months, pay me this much rent for this 9 months. It means rent is always paid based on months, that is duration. That is a fixed cost. Fixed cost is also known as period cost. It is incurred based on period, and variable cost is also known as product cost. It is always incurred based on product. This is variable cost. It is incurred on product, and yeah, fixed cost is always incurred on period. So the ratio which will be taken is 6:9. 30 lakh will be divided in 6:9. 30 lakhs per annum in 3:9. Sorry, you can simplify if you want. Okay, so 3 lakh divided by 12, 30 lakhs, sorry, divided by 12 into 3 equal to, that is 7,50,000. Then 9 equal to, that is 22,50,000. Okay, sir. Then sir, after fixed overheads there are variable overheads. Sir, what is the amount of variable overhead? Sir, it is given, it is 100 rupees per unit. It is 100 rupees per unit, that is given, 100 rupees. It is very easy then. In the bracket we can say it is 100 rupees per unit. In the first 3 months you will produce 1500 units, so 100 into 15,000, sorry, 15,000, that will be 15 lakh. Then 100 into 72,000, that becomes 72 lakhs. So there were 3 types of overheads based on behavior. The one was fixed, then there was a variable, now there is a semi-variable. Let's leave online, let's keep the presentation. So if you talk about semi-variable overheads, we have already calculated the answer, which is 5 lakh and 21 lakh. That's it. There is no other cost which is mentioned in the question. You can see that entire question we read. Okay, just take the total, calculate the total cost. No other cost is there in the question. It is like your cost of sales, we can say 22,50,000 plus 7,50,000 plus 15 lakh plus 5 lakh. Please make your own calculations. Your answer will be 15 lakh over here. 108 lakhs plus 22,50,000 plus 22 lakh 35 2 crore 23 lakh 50,000 2 crore 23 lakh 50,000. Okay, now you can just take the total and you can have your total cost. This is total cost month wise of the company. If you want to know the total cost of the company, so the total cost of the company will be addition of these two, which is the 2 crore 73 lakh 50,000, 2 crore 73 lakh 50,000, addition of above two cost. Okay, now sir, what they are asking for, they want the question has specified that they want to earn a profit of 20 lakhs. So I will have to switch to the next page. If something is pending, just let me know, otherwise I will switch to the next page. Okay, so you have written till here. Let me copy this. Yes, this is my total cost. In this total cost, what I will add is total profit which I want to earn. Now I will get my total sales. So if you see that in the question it is specified, at the end you want to earn how much profit?
20 lakh.
So it is written 20,000 for the year. For entire year I would like to earn 20 lakh as a profit. So this is my cost of entire year. Then I can say I would like to earn 20 lakh as my total profit at the end of the year. So plus 20 lakh, my total sales value will be 2 crore 93 lakh 50,000. This is the sales which I want. Okay. Now I would like to calculate the average selling price. Now I would like to calculate the average selling price. You need to understand whatever answer we have got, it will be divided by number of units. This is sales in 1 year, number of units. Tell me how many units you will take into consideration when you divide by number of units. Hello, divide by how many units?
Sir, 15,000 plus 72,000, that is 87,000.
Exactly. In the first 3 months, because this is for 12 months. So again, the number of units will be for 12 months. So 15,000 units are produced in first 3 months. In the next 9 months, we have produced 72,000. Okay, so 15,000 plus 72,000, guys, you will get 87,000, and the value will be divided 2 crore 93 lakh 50,000 divided by 80. Yeah, then your average price, 1 second, 2 crore 93 lakh 50,000 divided by 87,000, 337. You can keep 2 decimals. Yeah, so you can keep 4 decimals also, that is okay. I'm keeping 4 decimals. 2 decimals are also okay in this chapter. That is 337.3563. Okay. Fine. So we are done with this part. Okay, now if you want, we can make some changes in the question, or else that question will be done later on with some changes. As of now, we can say we are done with this question, which took exactly 30 minutes for us to solve this question. Okay, so I can just write here 30 minutes, and we are done with this question. Hello guys, if you have seen video till here and if you feel that I have contributed something in your success, what you can do is either you can write a very good message on this number, that is 996-773-6613. This number you can write a message, a very good message. You can comment also below the video. Don't forget to like and share with your friends. Do like and do subscribe the channel. And if you feel that there is any contribution from my side, and if you want to donate something from your side, again it is completely optional, or you can donate even when you even it can be any random amount which you want. You can Google Pay on this number, which is 996-773-6613. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Yeah. Okay, now let us start with the next concept. The next concept's name is batch costing. Now sir, what is batch costing? So let us understand unit costing and batch costing. What is the difference between these two? So if you understand, it is simple. When I say unit costing, it means you are producing single unit at a time. Okay, that is unit costing. When I say batch costing, it means production is done in one batch. It is done in one batch. There are various examples which you can see, like suppose there are companies like where the production is done in batches. You can see that in, like, when you buy anything now, you can just check. There are certain products where it is written, it is the batch number is this. Now why do we go for a batch? So understand, अपने घर पे कभी वो at our home we can see that कभी sweets and all दिवाली में बनाई जाती है. There is one sweet known as naan khatai. So when we make naan khatai, what happens is एक ट्रे होता है, let us say ये एक ट्रे है, we go to the, वो घर पे से कभी वो जाना पड़ता है, इसलिए मैं समझाता हूँ. ये बेकरी होती है, there we go. फिर उस बेकरी वाले से अपने को एक ट्रे मिलता है, उस ट्रे के ऊपर we have to keep these sweets, let us say that is naan khatai, and then once these are being kept on this tray, फिर वो ट्रे जाएगा एक फर्नेस और वी कैन से भट्टी में जाएगा, एंड देन उसको हीट वगैरह किया जाएगा. वंस वी हीट इट अप, देन इट विल बी बेक्ड. ओके, वो उसका वो बेक हो जाएगा वो, एंड देन वी कैन ईट करके, वैसा है. सो दैट बेकिंग विल बी डन ओवर देयर, वो हीटिंग प्रोसेस. नाउ हियर रीजन व्हेन यू गो, तो आप that tray will be there, and in that tray we can keep this many naan khatais in that sweet, we can say. That is, it means when the production is done, it was done in one batch, not unit by unit. Okay, it was done in one batch. You will never say ki we will keep only one naan khatai. Okay, you will keep one, that batch will be decided that you will keep this many naan khatais or this many sweets in one batch. Okay, so that is how the production is done. Even in pharmaceutical industry, we can say, where medicines and all medicines are produced, they go for a batch costing. They make a batch that we will produce in batches. In every batch we will produce, let us say, 100 units. Now the question arises, sir, how to calculate these units? That is known as economic batch quantity. That is how to calculate these units in batches. How do we arrive as to how do we get this 100 units in one batch are produced? For that matter, EBQ concept you will learn, and that will be learned in material costing. When we come to this chapter, material costing, I will teach you how to calculate this 100 units. That is economic batch quantity, how it is calculated. As of now, my job is not to calculate economic batch quantity. That quantity will be given in the question, that we produce this many units in one batch. And when I say we produce this many units in one batch, in this case, these are being produced, what is my cost which is incurred for that one batch? We need to calculate cost for one batch, because these are the companies where production is done in batches. One batch will have this many units. Okay, so now if I go for that, so let us go for the next question and we will understand the concept. So let us go for the next question. Okay, so let us start with the question. Let us read the question. Very easy question. Arnav AC, or we can say, confectioners owns a bakery which is used to make bakery items like pastries, cakes and muffins. So we have a bakery. The name of the bakery is AC, we can say. AC owns a bakery. AC used to bake at most 50 units of any item at a time. So at a time we bake 50 items. Okay, a customer has been given an order for 600 muffins. Let us say that muffins. Tell me, for 600 muffins, how many batches we will have to operate for, or 12 batches, because in one batch of 50 units muffins can be produced. So for 600 muffins we will have to operate, or we have to run 12 batches. Okay, now to process a batch of 50 muffins, the following cost will be incurred. Now this time you should be very careful. The cost is not given per unit basis for one muffin. The cost is given for 50 muffins, or I can say one batch of 50 muffins. This is very important in this case. Okay, that is the only change. The cost will be given for one batch. We can see that direct material 500, direct wages, then there is a oven setup cost. Before you carry out that baking activity, or you have to set up that oven at certain temperature and all, so that cost is this much, 150 rupees. Okay, setup cost. AC absorbs is nothing but recovery. You recover fixed overheads. These are incurred in totality. And how these are being recovered? So these are recovered like this. Recovers so AC, which is name of the company, absorbs overheads or recovers fixed overheads at the rate of 20% of direct wages. It means if you incur 100 rupees as a direct wages, overheads will be recovered at 20%. It means 20 rupees that will be added for overheads, like your rent and other expenses. For that matter, it will be added. Then again 10% is added to the total cost of production. After adding everything, you get total cost. Then you have to add profit also. Profit is 10% of the total cost of production of each batch, to allow for the selling and distribution and administration. So once you get your production cost, you have to add your admin, your selling and distribution, and your profit. Taking total of everything, 10% will be added for this, and then you will get your selling price. Okay. Acha, there is one more thing, sorry. AC requires a profit. Profit will be added differently. Profit is nothing but 25% of the sales value. Determine the selling price of the 600 muffins. Can you do this in rough, or I should give more hints, or that is sufficient? Whatever we read, you can calculate the selling price of 600 muffins. If someone is placing order for 600 muffins, how much you will charge to him? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can try.
So please try. The question is there in front of you. Please try. अर्पित नहीं. Krish, right answer. How much you will charge for 600 muffins? Dhruvi, right answer. Okay. Here we go then. Vedant, right. Tejas, 9. Priyam, 9. Okay. Chalo, let's start. Let us start with the question. Solution. Okay. Now, first of all, you can make one working note, which is working note number 1 for your clarity if you want. That is number of batches. Now, here we go. I can say that if here 50 muffins are produced, 50 units are produced in one batch, that is a batch of 50 muffins. So if we want 600 muffins, then how many batches will be there? Directly it can be said 600 muffins and 50 muffins in each batch. So we will have to conduct 12 batches for the production of 600 muffins. So 12 batches will be conducted. Okay. Now अर्पित नहीं, कुछ छोटा सा error है. We will have a look. Okay. Now once you get this as 12 batches, now the next thing will be we can make the cost sheet. Okay. To calculate the answer, we just need answer for the cost per batch. Otherwise, let us first calculate the cost per batch. Working note number 2. Cost per batch. Particulars amount. Acha, when I say cost per batch, it means a batch has 50 units or muffins, you can say. It means the cost is being calculated for 50 muffins, that is, or one batch. Acha, sir, in one batch, what do we require? Material is required, labor is required, then oven setup cost. So I can write it down. Material, wages, then oven setup. Direct material, direct wages, oven setup. Yes, and the cost is given in the question as 500 or 50, 150. Okay, there is one more cost which is given. AC absorbs production overheads at the rate of 20% of direct wages. So I can say production overhead, which is 20% of direct wages. So I can say 50 into 20%. Direct wages is 50. So 50 into 20%, guys, you get 10 rupees. 10 rupees will be added over here. And once you take the total of these,
710.
710. Okay, this is which cost? This is your production cost of one batch. All the production expenses are being added, but other than production expenses you incur is what is your administration and your selling and distribution. Again, the data is there with reference to that. It is very much it is specified that 10% is added to the production cost of each batch to allow for selling, distribution and administration. So 10% is being added for that. So add administration, admin, selling and distribution, which is 10% of this. So 10% of production cost means 710 into 10%. That will be 71. Once you add that also, 710 plus 71, that becomes 781. This is your total cost. Total cost per batch. So in order to I can say for one batch of 50 muffins or 50 units, we have to incur 781 rupees. Okay. Now, what is being asked in this question? What is being asked in this question is determine what to determine? Determine the selling price of a 600 muffins. So there is an order which came, which is for 600 muffins. We have to determine the selling price. How much you will charge? ठीक है. Let us go for that now. Selling price. Now, main solution. Selling price for 600 units or muffins, you can say. Again, solution can be presented in different way. I am showing you the one of the methods. Okay, it can be presented in different way. Okay, now particulars, amount. So what we will do is first we will calculate the total cost. If you calculate the total cost, that will be you incur 781 for one batch multiplied by, if 781 is incurred for one batch, we will have to run 12 batches for 600 units. In that case, I can see that 781 multiplied by 12, that comes to 9372. This will be the total cost which will be incurred in order to produce 600 units, or I can say in order to run 12 batches. Okay, now this will be the cost which will be incurred. After that, obviously you will add some profit to that, and then you will arrive at your selling price, which is your total sales. Okay, the ratio of profit is given in the question, and that is 25% on your sales value. If your sales is 100, then you want to earn 25% profit. So we can simply see that if I make that equation over here, your sales is 100, you want to earn 25 rupees or 25% as a profit. It means your cost will be 75. It is as simple as that. Okay, if your selling price is 100, your profit will be 25 and your cost will be 75. Now you can just cross multiply and you can get the answer. 9372 divided by 75 into 25. Okay, so that will be 3124 plus 9372, that will be 12496. This is your total sales value of how many units? Muffins, 600 muffins or 600 units, you can say. Suppose this is the sales value for 600 muffins, but it is always preferable if we have the units, and if they are asking for a selling price, we will show that in totality also and in per unit also. So we will divide by number of units. This sales value is for 600 muffins, so divide by this, divide by 600, and here you go, it will be 20.82 or 83, we can say, selling price per unit. So for every muffin this will be charged, and this order is for this many units, 600. So you're gonna charge this much for that order, and for every unit this will be your charge. Okay, any doubt? Please let me know. The mistake should not happen. Okay, when you revise at home, please take one piece of paper and calculate this in rough. You will get this answer. This will be 20.83. Okay, it should take max. Bolo.
So we can calculate the total cost of 600 units only from the starting.
हाँ चलेगा. You can, instead of this cost per batch, you can make total cost column. That is also okay. चलेगा. I told you there are different ways. The only thing is at the end you should get this answer 12496. Presentation is quite okay. No problem at all. Hello, you got that answer 12496?
Yes,
Then
yes,
fine.
I
Then
got that answer.
fine, then there is no need to worry with the presentation part, because when you sit in the examination everyone will have a different presentation. That is but obvious. Okay, so yeah, the answer is this. And finally, yeah, Arpit, can you tell me where you made the mistake? That I will highlight then, matlab वैसा, if possible for you.
Sir, I had to calculate the production cost, right? So I took 25% on production overhead, like the total part instead of direct wages. That's it.
Okay, fine. What was written was
Just 20% on direct wages. I took it on the total, like on 700 instead of on 50.
okay, fine. So that mistake can be made. Chalo, theek hai. So I came to know that this mistake can be made, like that there is a possibility and it can be done. Matlab ho sakta hai waisa. Theek hai. So that's it. This question took around 19 minutes and we are done. Okay. Theek hai. Let's start. Rio Limited undertakes to supply 1000 units of a component per month for the months of Jan, Feb and March 2020. So we gonna supply some units per month. Every month we gonna supply 1000. Okay. Every month a batch is opened against which material labor costs are booked. So every month we will run one batch, and in that batch we will incur material cost and labor cost. See, as in when you produce one unit, you know that you incur material and labor cost. But when you produce one unit, you never incur overheads cost. It is always recovered. We calculate one rate. My monthly rent is 10,000. And I'm going to my monthly rent is, let us say, 1 lakh rupees, and I'm going to produce 50,000 units in 1 month. So you always see that for every unit I should recover minimum 2 rupees. This should be my recovery rate or absorption rate, that every unit will take 2 rupees charge, and this will be recovered from the customer. Rent is paid in totality. If it is in per unit, now if fixed cost is in per unit, it is not paid, it is recovered from the customer, and it is written also. Overheads are levied at rate per labor hour. Here we follow labor hour method. It means if worker works for 1 hour, we will recover this much rupees from the customer. That data will be there in the question. Let us read, you will understand. The selling price is contracted at rupees 15. So first of all, selling price is fixed in the question. That first of all, how many units? 1000 units for next 3 months, Jan, Feb and March, and we have to sell it for rupees 15. Okay, now what is given is, from the following data calculate profit. This is very important. When the requirement is given in the question, either double underline or put that in bracket. If it is given in the middle, if the requirement is at the beginning or at the end, there is no need to worry. If the requirement of the question is given in the middle, please put that in circle. Okay, it will help you, or we can see in rectangle shape, whatever, square, you can say the profit per unit we want. Okay, when you say profit per unit of each batch order and overall position, and we need one more thing, that is overall position. Ek to profit per unit is required, and yeah, overall position is also required. Okay, for that those 3000 units, what is data is given is Jan, Feb and March. In Jan we have produced 1250 units, 1500 and 1000 units. Then material cost is given, labor cost is given. Okay, so even though there is an order but company produces, there are other customers also. For those we have to produce. So what we produce is 1000 units we want for one customer, but there are other customers also. So in Jan we produce 1250, in Feb we produce 1500, in March we produce 1000 units. Against that your labor and material cost is booked. Okay, labor is paid at the rate of rupees 2 per hour. Can you tell me if labor is paid at rupees 2 per hour in the month of Jan, workers have worked for how many hours?
4,000.
Nine.
1250.
1250 na for this batch. Hello.
Yes.
So for the batch,
See, what I was saying is this.
4,000 दिया हुआ ना total labor.
Or that is in totality. That is in totality. I am saying for this batch. When I say that labor is paid at the rate of rupees 2, see, again I will tell you one thing. See, suppose there is a company. Understand? I hope you understand. If there is a company, in company, suppose this is my factory. Now company will produce, the data is given for one batch. This is the only batch we run for one customer, or I hope you understand there are other machineries also where the production will happen.
Yes.
So the first table which is given in the question, the first table which is given in the question is with reference to one batch, and the next table which is given in the question is with reference to company, the second table which is given. Now let's have a look, so you will understand that data. अब यार ये किधर गया, ये वाला कौन सा था, this cost sheet was there. Okay, so understand this. The first table which is given in the question is for one batch. See, batch output, it is very important, batch output. Now the other details which are given in the question, here understand. First of all, for this batch अगर मेरे को बोलना है तो the formula is like HR hours into rate, you get cost. Hours into rate, guys, you get cost. It is like workers have worked for workers have got 2,500 rupees and they are getting paid at the rate of rupees 2. So they must have worked for how many hours? They must have worked for 1250 hours, which is nothing but 2,500 divided by 2. You got this answer. They have worked for 1250 hours. So that is 1250 hours they have worked for producing this many units, 1250 units in the month of Jan. But that is for one batch na. In totality they have worked for 4,000. There are other batches also, or the production is going in on another machineries also. This is just for this batch I am saying. Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if I tell you about the overhead rate, overhead is recovered based on what? There was some information which was given. If you just read, overhead is recovered based on rate per hour. So if I tell you my rent is 12,000 of the factory, my rent is 12,000 of the factory and the rent is recovered. I have to recover that rent from the customer. I recover this based on hour basis. Let us say labor hour basis. So 12,000 is my cost and I am going to work for 4,000 hours. I will recover kitna per hour? I will recover 3 rupees per hour. Do you understand that? As in when worker works for 1 hour, 3 rupees will be recovered as a rent or overhead. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So when you decide the selling price, what all things will come? Material cost will come, labor cost will come, overheads will come. Then you're gonna get your total cost. You will have your selling price and you will get the balancing figure as profit. Okay. Now the material cost is given, the labor cost is given, and overheads data is there. So first, if you want, like we can go for that working, which is working note number 1, or that can be calculated later on. वैसे तो चलो एक काम करते हैं पहले या तो पहले एक वर्किंग नोट बना ही लेते हैं. लेट अस मेक वन वर्किंग, दैट इज वर्किंग नोट नंबर 1. बोलो.
Sir, I didn't understand this 3 per hour.
See, suppose you want to decide the selling price, right? When you decide the selling price, first you need to calculate the cost. You will calculate the cost, you will add the profit, and once cost and profit is added, you will get the selling price. But for calculation of the costs are divided into two parts. If I say based on behavior, the first is variable cost and the one is the fixed cost. Selling price is always quoted on per unit basis. Selling price is always quoted on per unit basis. Please understand this very carefully, everyone. Okay, this part is going to come in overheads later on, but please try to understand here now. If I talk about variable cost and fixed cost, variable cost is always incurred on per unit basis, but fixed cost is never incurred in per unit basis. Fixed cost is always incurred in totality. Now let us say you have a sandwich ka business. Let us say you have a sandwich ka business. So to manufacture sandwich, you require material of rupees, let us say 13. You require labor. You have appointed one labor. You pay him, let us say 3 rupees per unit. And let us say this cost is 14 rupees material. You know what all things are required to make a sandwich. Let us take the example. In totality, the cost is 14 rupees per sandwich, that is per unit. This is per unit. My cost will be 17 per unit. Okay. This is the only cost which I will incur? No, there are other costs also which will be incurred by the company. So example like rent and other stuff. But let us take for rent. Let us take one example. This was variable, this was variable. It is always incurred in per unit basis. Now let us talk about fixed cost, which is rent. Now my rent is 100 rupees per day, let us say. 100 rupees per day. Now how this rent will be recovered from the customer? Can you tell me some method by which rent will be recovered from the customer? Obviously it will be recovered when you paid the fees. When you paid fees to the classes, rent has been recovered. Like now, as of now, it is online, but when the classes are, like we can say, conducted face to face, that amount of rent, AC, everything is recovered from you. Okay, so tell me how this rent will be recovered from you. It is 100 rupees per day. How it will be recovered from the customer if you have a business? Tell me, please tell me something. You will estimate something. Bolo, what will you estimate? You will estimate as to how many units you will sell in one day. Let us say you are going to sell 50 units, right? Hello. So what will you say, sir? My rent is 100 rupees per day. Generally, I sell 50 units in one day. So I will take over 2 rupees. So when you say 2 rupees, it is actually paid or it is recovered? Recovered. Rent is always paid in totality. Hello.
Yes.
Alright, others, please. I hope you all are getting it. Rent is paid in totality. It is recovered from the customer in per unit basis. Okay. So we will recover like this. We will say my total cost will be 19 and then profit will be added to the total cost. Acha. So what you did is rent was paid in totality, like per day or per month basis, and you calculated this. We can say like this, ki in 1 month you pay rent of 1 lakh rupees and divided by there are 50,000 units that is being produced in 1 month. So per unit you recover 2 rupees. Now, but if I tell you something like this, that we have 2 products, एक सादा sandwich, एक toast sandwich. मुझे बताओ which sandwich will require more efforts? We can say toast sandwich. So in that case, if I say that I'm gonna make 1000 units of sada sandwich, 1000 units of toast sandwich, so I will make 2000 units, and let us say my rent is 10,000 or electricity bill is 10,000. This is the better approach. Is it better approach that 10,000 divided by 2000? Whether it is right approach or wrong approach, tell me. I will say wrong approach. Sir, why? I will say, let us say, to make this sandwich we require 1 hour. Let us say, for the sake of simplicity, to make this sandwich we require 2 hours. So for sada sandwich we require 1000 hours. For toast sandwich we require 2000 hours. So in totality we require 3000 hours. Obviously toast sandwich will have a higher selling price. Now what I can do is, my rent is 10,000. That will be divided by 3000 hours. That is based on labor hours. And that is how I will recover. I will arrive at one rate and that will be recovered from the customer. What is given in the question is, my overheads are 12,000 and overhead is recovered based on labor hours, and I am going to work for 4,000 hours. I have to recover this entire 12,000 from the customer. I will say I am going to work for 4,000 hours. It means burden per hour is 3 rupees. It means as and when my worker is working for 1 hour, 3 rupees will be recovered. With 3 rupees will be recovered from the customer with reference to overheads. Once my worker has worked for 4,000 hours, I will recover this 12,000 from the customer. Once my workers have worked for 4,000 hours, which I have expected. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it clear that 12,000 divided by 4,000, it is not something which you pay, it is something which you recover from the customer. Payment is always done in totality as 12,000. Okay. I hope so. That was the thing. It was in per unit, so there was no need to worry because fixed cost is paid in totality. So we did something and we converted that total cost into per unit basis. Just to decide the selling price. Okay. Now even you will learn that there will be one under a recovery or over recovery of overheads, but that everything will be done in the overheads chapter. So I am not discussing as of now in detail. Okay. So we have discussed whatever doubt we came across, which was how did we get this 3 rupees. So we have discussed that. Okay. Now here what we need to do is, let us make one working note. Let us make one working note, which is working note number 1. Acha, which is with reference to your absorption rate. We will calculate one absorption rate. Absorption oblique, which is known as recovery rate of overheads. So when you see this particulars, then there is Jan month, Feb month, the formula is budgeted overhead divided by here budgeted hours, because it is recovered based on hours, so budgeted labor hours. So in the month of Jan, we will see that my overhead cost was 12,000. The work hours, we will work for 4,000. Here my cost is 9,000. We will work for 4,500 hours. Here it is 15,000, and yeah, we're gonna work for 5,000 hours. So what will be my recovery rate? As and when worker works for 1 hour, I can see that overhead cost is 12,000 divided by 4,000. 3 rupees will be recovered per hour. That is rate per hour. Here it will be 9,000 divided by 4,500. It will be 2 per hour. Here it will be 15,000 divided by 5,000. It will be 3 per hour. So this is my recovery rate of overheads. Okay. Now, once we get this, now the things will be easy. If I say multiplied by, in the month of Jan, or I can say in the month of Jan, that batch which we produced, that took how many hours? First of all, that we will have to calculate. That batch took how many hours? So ठीक है, into labor hours. I will say that I paid 2,500 in the month of Jan to my workers for that specific batch, and my rate per hour is 2. So my workers have worked for how many hours? 1250 hours. It should be very much clear. Okay, to produce that one batch of how many units? 1250 units. This, the batch of 1250 units. I am saying, for this batch of 1250 units, my workers have worked, I paid them 2,500 and the rate is 2 rupees per hour. So they have worked for 1250 hours, which is 2,500 divided by 2. And as and when worker works for 1 hour, we recover 3 rupees as overheads. So how much will be recovered? That is overheads, as overheads. So 3 rupees per hour, so 3 rupees into 1250. I am calculating with reference to batch. This will be recovered 3750 per batch. Again, in the month of Feb, in one batch we have produced 1500. To produce those 1500 units, we have incurred 3 lakh rupees as a labor cost, 3,000 as a labor cost. For every hour we pay 2 rupees. So my workers must have worked for 1500 hours. For this batch, they have actually worked for 4,500 hours in different batches. Out of those, they have worked for 1500 hours on this batch, the batch which we are talking about. I hope you are not getting confused, you are understanding everything. Just in case you have a doubt, let me know. Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Others, please, you also at least say yes. I will understand that you are getting it. Hello.
Yes, sir, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough then. So in totality, workers have worked for 4,500 hours. Out of that, 1,500 hours they have worked for this many units. That is, they got paid 3,000 and the rate per hour is 2 rupees. Okay, they got paid 3,000, rate per hour is 2 rupees. Then they got paid 2,000 for this batch and the rate per hour is 2 rupees. This is rate of labor. So They must have worked for how many hours? They must have worked for 1500 hours over here, and here 1000 hours. And as when worker works for 1 hour, we charge 2 rupees as overhead rate, because overhead was 9000 of the company, and in totality for the company, worker will work for 4500 hours. It means as and when worker is working for 1 hour, you will recover 2 rupees as overheads. Okay, so if they have worked for 1500, you will recover 3000 as overheads over here. And 3 into 1000, that will be 3000. Okay, so that is the overhead rate. That is, this much amount will be recovered for the batch. Okay. Now having done this, if we go ahead, now we can easily calculate the things. That is, what they were asking for is, let me read that part. Calculate the profit. They are asking for a profit now, so we will have to make a statement. See, cost minus sales, or sales minus cost. I can say I will get the profit, sales minus cost. So let us calculate the profit per unit for each batch order. So first let us calculate for each batch how much I have earned from each batch. Okay, they are asking for this. From each batch I have earned how much profit. So let's make that statement. That is statement showing profit. When I say statement showing profit, here you will write particulars, and then again there are 3 months, so you will say Jan, Feb, March. Sales minus cost, you will get the profit. They are asking for profit from each batch. So theek hai. If you talk about sales, selling price is given in the question. Every unit can be sold for 15 rupees. You can see that every unit can be sold for 15 rupees. So in this case, if you talk about, so in this case, your profit here, if chalo, you made this column, yeah, baki hai. Okay, chalo. So I can here say that Jan, Feb and March. Okay, so here we can say that first you need to calculate the sales value. So first let us calculate the sales as A. Sales, how will you calculate sales? It is very simple. In every month, how many units are produced in one batch? So 1250, it can be seen 1250, these many units are produced, 1500 and 1000 units. Units per batch. How many units are produced in one batch into what is the selling price, total sales you will get. See, in every batch we have produced here this and this 1250, 1500 and 1000 number of units are produced, batch output every month. 1250, 1500 and 1000. 1250, 1500 and 1000. These many units are produced. Each unit, every unit can be sold for ₹15. The selling price was given in the question, the fifth line of the question, which can be seen contracted. The selling price contracted is 15. So you will get total sales that can be generated. Okay, 15 into 1250, 18750. 22,500, 1,000, 15,000. So guys, this much sales value can be generated. Now from this sales value, if you guys subtract your cost, you will arrive at profit, and they were asking for a profit per batch. So sales per batch we have calculated. Now we need to calculate the cost per batch. If you talk about cost per batch, we incur 3 types of cost, which is material, then there is a labor, and then there is a overheads cost. So if we talk about material, it is directly given in the question. Material and labor, you just don't have to worry about it. That is given in the question. You can see that to produce these units in one batch, we require this much we have paid this much material and this much labor, which is 6250 and 2500. So 6250 2,500. Then we can say 9,000, 3,000. And we can say 5,000 and 2,000. So we made this much payment. So from one batch, what is my sales revenue, that I know. What is my cost that will be incurred, and yes, what will be my overhead cost that will be incurred for this batch. So for this batch, this much was the payment. You can see this 2,500, and yeah, divide by 2, so we got number of hours, which is 1250, and as and when the rate was 3 rupees, so in totality we got this much will be for this batch overheads. 3750 overheads will be for this batch. Here it will be 3,000. Just take the total, you will get your total cost. And yeah, once you get the total cost, you will get your total profit. Then C part, profit. We will calculate total profit and profit per unit. Chalo, so 6250 plus 2,500 plus 3750, your 12,500 will be your cost, which will be subtracted from the sales. You will get 6250 as a profit. 6250 is a profit of difference of 2, and yeah, 6250 is a profit for how many units? 1250 units in one batch. So profit per batch will be profit per unit will be 5 rupees. That is, this is the profit for this many units. Okay, here we go. 9,000 plus 3,000 plus 3,000, that will be 15,000 minus 22,500, which is sales. You gonna earn 7,500 rupees as a profit for 1500 units. So per unit profit will be 5. Again, 5,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000, that will be 10,000. Divide minus 15,000, you get 5,000 as a profit for 1,000 units. So 5 rupees per unit will be your profit. Yes, so they were asking for this only, profit per batch. So one batch is of this many units, this will be your profit per batch and per unit. What was something which was difficult was this, which I feel is overheads, maybe, that I have explained. Okay, now having done this, okay, now once we are done with this, there is one more requirement which is there in the question. There were two requirements, if you just have a look. The first one was calculate the profit per unit of each batch. So they were asking for this profit per unit, we have calculated of each batch, that is this. They are asking for this 555, the something which we calculated. And the second requirement was overall position for the order of 3,000 units. We have got order for 3,000. Kaise sir, we need to supply 1,000 units every month, Jan, Feb and March. We need to supply total 3,000 units. What is the overall position? When I say overall, it means after supplying all 3,000 units, how much you will earn. So now in this case, let us calculate that overall position, that is second requirement. Overall position for what, sir? Overall position for 3,000 units. So when I say overall position for 3,000 units, first of all, sales particulars. Achha. Now understand. Okay, here we go. What is your sales? Your sales will be, you are going to sell total 3,000 units, every unit will be sold for 15. That is the selling price. So you will receive overall 45,000 from this order of 3,000. what will be the overall cost that you will incur? Can you tell me the amount of cost? I will come to know that yeah, you got the point. What will be your total cost for this 3000 units?
37,500.
Sorry?
37,500.
9. See, when you see this 12,500 plus 15,000 plus 10,000, this is cost for how many units? Hello, this is cost for this many units, no? 1250
Yes.
plus 1000 1500, so 375, एक second, 1500 plus 1000, but into, I hope you understand, I need cost for 3000 units, so multiplied by 3000. और समझा तुमको मैंने क्या किया? You are just comparing for 3000 here ना. Over there what was required was not for order, that was for one batch, profit was for one batch of Jan, batch of Feb, batch of March, but here they are asking only for that specific order of 3000. So for those 3000 units I can say this is my sales value, because sales price is 15, which is constant, but cost you will calculate like this now, that in totality you will say that this was your cost in these 3 months, and for this many units you have produced, so for 3000 it is how much? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 1250 plus 1500 plus 1000, okay, 30,000, okay. So now once we have this, that it is 30,000, then we can say the profit which is 15,000. This is your profit, and they were asking for this overall position. That was the second requirement. Again, if I read that, see, the first requirement is profit per unit of each batch order. Batch order, this is batch. So we have calculated profit in the month of Jan when the batch was of 1250, when the batch was of 1500, and the batch was of 1000 units. Now specifically for 3000, what is my overall, means total position for this order. So for 3000 units, I will say from this 3000 I will generate this much sale, that is overall sales, and overall cost will be this, overall profit will be this much for this 3000. That's it. So that was the requirement and nothing else. And finally we can see that we are done with this question. Yeah, it took again 30 minutes for us to solve this. ओके अभी अगर हम यहाँ पे तुम्हारे इसकी बात करें ज़रा इंटर की, तो देखो अगर हम यहाँ पे इंटर की बात करते हैं, अगर मैं यहाँ पे लिख देता हूँ इंटर, तो अभी तुम हो यहाँ पे और तुम्हारी एग्जाम होगी अराउंड, जनरली तुम्हारे पास जो ड्यूरेशन होता है जनरली वो 9 मंथ्स का होता है. मे बी यू मस्ट बी हैविंग मोर टाइम. इन दिस केस वी कैन से सपोज यू हैव एग्जामिनेशंस इन मे एंड राइट नाउ इफ इट इज August, or let us say August, so let's not calculate August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April. So around 8 to 9 months you guys have, 8 to 9 months, 8 to 9 months you guys have in your hand, generally 9 months, तो 8 to 9 months I am writing over here. तो इसमें होता कि आपके पास सब्जेक्ट्स भी 8 होते हैं और आपको बोलने के लिए 8 सब्जेक्ट होते हैं. ग्रुप 1 में यू हैव 4 सब्जेक्ट्स, ग्रुप 2 में यू हैव 4 सब्जेक्ट्स. अगेन ये सब्जेक्ट्स में भी ना कभी कभी किसी सब्जेक्ट में बाइफर्केशन होता है, लाइक इफ देयर इज अ टैक्स, तो टैक्स के अंदर 2 बाइफर्केशन होंगे, एक रहेगा डायरेक्ट टैक्स, एक रहेगा इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. देन इसमें भी ऐसे बाइफर्केशंस रहेंगे. अगर ये 4 सब्जेक्ट है तो एक में रहेगा आपका एफएम, एक में रहेगा आपका इकोनॉमिक्स, एक में शायद ऐसा आपका होगा एक EIS करके, दैट इज IT से कनेक्टेड, एक में स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट. सो देयर विल बी सम यहाँ पे बाइफर्केशंस, यहाँ पे या तो चलो मैं इतना बोल दिया FM और यहाँ पे इकोनॉमिक्स, तो ऐसे कुछ बाइफर्केशंस हो गए आपके, वो तो अलग अलग ही सब्जेक्ट्स है IT और वो. तो मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इज यू शुड मेक सम प्लान. अभी प्लानिंग कैसे मालूम है क्या? वट एवर प्लान यू गाइज मेक, ऑब्वियस ही बात है प्लान ऐसा नहीं होता कि तुमने आज बनाया, वट एवर प्लानिंग मेड वो पूरा एंड तक सेम रहेगा, नहीं. प्लान हमेशा इम्प्रोवाइज किया जाएगा वीकली बेसिस पे. आई डू रिकमेंड to make a plan on weekly basis, okay? And before that, before you make a plan on weekly basis, you should make some changes in your routine and daily basis पे. तो from month I came to week and from weeks I came to the daily routine. Now when I talk about daily routine, you need to understand what should be your daily routine. कुछ भी हो जाए, जनरली हम इतना तो करते ही है, अगर सुबह उठते हैं तो उसके बाद रात को सोने तक, तो सबसे पहले तो हम लोग स्लीप हर रोज सोते हैं, ये बात पक्की है। हम लोग मान लेते हैं और जनरली 90% लोग तो रोज ब्रश करते रहेंगे, रोज दे मस्ट बी टेकिंग बाथ, खाना पीना होता है, तो ये हमारी रूटीन है जो रोज होती है। सो रूटीन इज समथिंग विच इज डन ऑन डेली बेसिस। आपको रोज बोलना नहीं पड़ता, मोटिवेशन की ऐसी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती कि ब्रश करने से पहले वीडियो देखना पड़ता है मोटिवेशन का कि भाई आज ब्रश करना है, 5 मिनट का मोटिवेशन देखूंगा तो ही मेरे से ब्रश होगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा करके। सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट बिकॉज नाउ इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर रूटीन। हाँ, कभी एक आध बार आपका ब्रश नहीं होता रहेगा, जनरली मेरे से भी ऐसा होता है, कभी एक आध बार, एक आध महीने में कुछ ऐसा होता है कि चलो उस दिन ब्रश नहीं हो पाया। जनरली मैं 2 बार ब्रश करता हूं वैसे तो, एक मॉर्निंग में और एक नाइट में, जो आपको भी करना चाहिए, इट इज रिकमेंडेड। कभी डेंटिस्ट के पास जाते हो तो पता चलता है बहुत वो खतरनाक होता है, तो इट इज ऑलवेज प्रेफरेबल अभी से अगर छोटी छोटी आदतें अच्छी डाल दो तो। ओके, नाउ अब इस पॉइंट पे आते हैं। आई विल शेयर विथ यू ऑल्सो, एक बार तुम्हारा रिजल्ट वगैरह आ जाता है, आई विल शेयर विथ यू द डेली रूटीन ऑल्सो, थोड़ा और प्रिसाइजली। अभी मैं खाली कुछ ही चीजों पे बात कर रहा हूं, हमें पूरा टाइम टेबल भी डिसाइड कर लेंगे अच्छे से, लेकिन अभी मैं जो बोल रहा हूं बस इतना सुन लो, आपका अभी के लिए रूटीन क्या होना चाहिए। जनरली जैसे एक लर्निंग का होता है ना, जहां पे आदमी सीखता है चीजें, मतलब अगर आपने अभी एक क्वेश्चन 10 मिनट में किया तो सेम क्वेश्चन जब सेकेंड टाइम करोगे तो शायद इट विल टेक 8 मिनट्स और 7 मिनट्स, बिकॉज आपने कुछ तो सीखा है तभी एक बार करते टाइम, कुछ थोड़ा बहुत सीख लिया। वैसे ही देयर इज समथिंग नोन एज लर्निंग का, वैसे ही एक होता है फॉरगेटिंग का। नाउ व्हाट इज फॉरगेटिंग का? आप जो चीज सीखोगे जरूरी है क्या कि पूरा लाइफ टाइम तक याद रहेगा? नहीं सर, इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी, वो लाइफ टाइम तक याद नहीं रहेगा। कैसा होता है, अपना ब्रेन एक वेयर हाउस की तरह होता है, इसमें जितना चीजें रखोगे ना, अगर 2 ही चीजें है तो ढूंढना इजी, इधर गए ये चीज लेके आ गए, if it is there you will go there and you will take it out. Okay, now पर अगर चीजें बहुत ज्यादा होती जाएंगी, A B C D ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजें आ गई, अभी आपके पास जितने ज्यादा कपड़े हो जाएंगे, उसके बाद आपको अचानक से वो एक ब्लैक कलर का शर्ट ढूंढना है, तो ढूंढने जाने के लिए बहुत तकलीफ होगी, कहाँ पे सारी चीजें ढूंढोगे फिर जाके मिलेगा करके। तो अभी आप जब इंटर पढ़ने वाले हो ना, आपके पास बहुत सारा नॉलेज आने वाला है, तो बहुत सारा नॉलेज एक ही दिमाग में आ जाएगा, तो निकालना बहुत भारी पड़ता है बाद में जब जरूरत होती है। तो उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, अगर आप डेली बेसिस पे ये शर्ट यहाँ पे जाके रखते हो और फिर निकालते हो, या तो हर हफ्ते में 1 बार या 2 बार, तो आपको याद है उसका लोकेशन वो कहाँ पे है, मतलब इट इज लाइक रिविजन, रोज वो ऑटो पायलट मोड पे चला जाता है, आपको पता है ये चीज इधर ही रखी है। ब्रश करना तो वो ब्रश कहाँ रखा होता है, इवन फैन का बटन कौन सा है, लाइट का बटन कौन सा है, वो रोज याद हो जाता है। वैसे आपको कुछ छोटे मोटे चेंजेस अपने डेली रूटीन में करने हैं। क्या करना है, तो सिंपल है, आपका लेक्चर अभी कितने आवर्स का चलता है वैसे एक दिन में, अगर हम टाइम टेबल की बात करें उस हिसाब से, हाउ मेनी आवर्स डू वी? 6 hours. It is around I think 1 to 7:30, right? Yes. तो मैं क्या बोलता हूँ, अभी तुम अराउंड 1 to 7:30 मतलब 6 hours तो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, और बीच में हाफ एन आवर भी है वो, तो ठीक है, तो 6 hours इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो। तो देखो, या तो ये भी मत इन्वेस्ट करो, या तो अगर 6 घंटा इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो देन डू नॉट हेसिटेट फॉर मोर 3 hours, 3 घंटा और भी पढ़ लो ना यार, जब इतना करने की सोच रहे हो तो और 3 घंटे के लिए क्यों सोचना करके। सो प्लीज मेक अ प्लान कि आप जब भी, और इस 3 घंटे में क्या होना चाहिए जनरली, तो आई रिकमेंड ये जो भी आपको 6 घंटा पढ़ाया जाता है ना, एक तो उसका रिविजन होना चाहिए, एटलीस्ट इतना किया करो। एक ये आई विल गो फॉर 10 hours एक्चुअली, थोड़ा सा चलो अगर 10 hours नहीं तो एटलीस्ट अभी 3 hours ही रखो, 10 hours वैसे करना चाहिए। अब इस 3 hours में आपको रिवीजन करना चाहिए। एक तो रिवीजन 2 तरह के होते हैं, एक लेक्चर पढ़ने के बाद रिवीजन होना चाहिए वो, और लेक्चर में बैठने से पहले सर ने क्या कराया वो खाली 15 मिनट देख लेने का। लाइक समझो अभी मैं आपको कॉस्टिंग पढ़ाया, तो कॉस्टिंग इज फिनिश, तो समझो इन बिटवीन होता है मेरा आज क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 चल रहा है, तो मैंने क्वेश्चन 1 से 8 पढ़ा लिया ना, तो अभी क्वेश्चन मैं पढ़ाऊँ आपको, उसके पहले आपको ऐसा करना चाहिए, सर कॉस्टिंग चल रहा है ना, एक बार काम करते हैं, लेट्स हैव अ लुक व्हाट इज द फॉर्मेट, लेट अस रिवाइज, लेट अस राइट इट ऑन पीस ऑफ पेपर, 10 मिनट में एक बार जरा देख लेते हैं फॉर्मेट को, सो दैट जब क्वेश्चन सर पढ़ाएंगे क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 तो आई विल नॉट बी स्ट्रगलिंग विद द फॉर्मेट, मेरे को फॉर्मेट पहले से पता होगा, मेरे को बस चीजें यहां से यहां पे जा रही वो पता चलेगा, देन आई विल पुट दैट इनटू द फॉर्मेट। तो थोड़ा एफर्ट आपको भी लेना पड़ेगा। सी इट इज नॉट लाइक वन वे कि मैं बस बताऊंगा और तुम कुछ बिना बस दिमाग लगाए ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं की और तुम्हारे से हो जाएगा, नहीं, इट इज ऑलवेज कि मैं भी आपको बताऊंगा और आपको भी उतने एफर्ट्स डालने पड़ेंगे, तब जाके कॉम्बिनेशन बनेगा, देन यू विल बी एबल टू क्लियर द एग्जामिनेशंस काफी अच्छे से। सो इट इज रिकमेंडेड अपने डेली रूटीन में थोड़ा 3 घंटे का और पढ़ाई भी जोड़ लो। ओके, प्लीज ऐड दिस। if you are setting for 6 hours, that is fruitful only if you make extra 3 hours का effort. So please मेक दैट रिविजन वाला पार्ट ऑल्सो इन योर माइंड कि आपको सोने से पहले 1 घंटा रिविजन करना है मान लो, या तो फिर अच्छा तो ऐसा कुछ एक प्लानिंग वगैरह बना दो, और 1 घंटे का ऐसा प्लान बनाने का कि इस 1 घंटे में ना मुझे मोबाइल टच करना है ना कुछ भी करना है, आई विल सिट फॉर 1 आवर एंड वॉट एवर सर हैज डन टुडे आई विल जस्ट ट्राई टू रिवाइज दैट इन शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ टाइम करके, वैसा तो ऐसा सब चीजें कुछ किया करो, इट विल हेल्प यू इन लॉन्ग रन। तो 1-1 घंटे के 3 सेशंस बना लो, अगर आपको ज्यादा ऐसा नहीं करना तो 1-1 घंटे के 3 सेशंस, लेकिन प्लीज ट्राई टू अचीव दोज, वैसा है बस। तो यही बोलना था। और अगर करोगे ऐसे तो और बहुत सारी बातें होंगी कि रिवीजन कैसे किया जाता है, नोट्स कैसे बनाए जाते हैं, कब कैसे उठना चाहिए, क्या पढ़ना चाहिए और वैसा वगैरह, बट ठीक है अभी के लिए मैं बस इतना ही बोल रहा हूं तुम लोगों को कि तुम लोगों को रिवीजन करना है जो भी पढ़ाया जा रहा है, बिकॉज हमारा दिमाग भूलते रहता है वैसे। ओके ठीक है, ओके देख लेते हैं एक बार क्या सीन है करके। देखो यहाँ पे क्या लिखा गया है। The thing is, jobbing factory has undertaken to supply 200 pieces of a component per month for ensuing 6 months. So I can simply say that overall position will be 200 every month into 6 months. That will be 1200 in totality we will have to supply. Okay. Every month a batch order is open against which materials and labors are booked as actual. तो जो भी खर्चा होगा हर मंथ में कुछ तो काम कराया जाएगा। Overheads are recovered at labor rate per hour. Labor के हिसाब से recover होंगे. The selling price contracted is 8 rupees per piece, which is given. Selling price same again. From the following data, calculate the cost and profit per piece. This time they are asking for cost also per unit, profit also per unit. So please, that is the only change which will be there. Cost and profit per piece, and then they are asking for overall position for the order of 1200 pieces. So again, same thing. Okay. Now. The only change is this time instead of 3 months there are 6 months guys. Okay, तो थोड़ा सा काम बढ़ जाएगा. Okay, but something comes to your rescue, that is hours are already given in the question, that how many hours are there. Okay, so this is there, this is there, this is there. ठीक है, this hours are there. Now the other details are there is just one printing error, that is not chargeable expenses, these are overheads. So please make that change, that is overheads. If something like this comes and that printing error is there in the module itself, so I kept it like this, so please it is a overheads. Okay, so just in case if you see also it is overheads actually, because that data was there for overheads only. वो गलती से they have written chargeable expenses. ठीक है, so now they have provided you the overheads, they have provided you the labor hours. I hope you understand what can be calculated is absorption rate or recovery rate, which is nothing but 12,000 divided by 4,800, that will be 2.5. I hope you get this. And tell me that 2.5 multiplied by what will you multiply with that 2.5, that those hours are also given in the question. बताओ क्या करोगे, what will you do? 2.5 multiplied by what? अरे बोलो, ये ना 240. Hello, in the month of Jan for that specific batch you are working for 240 hours. Hello, अरे समझ रहे? हाँ,
Yes, sir.
okay, so whatever answer you get, that will be, let us say 2.5 into 240, that becomes a 600. I am just showing with this, you have to present the way we have presented. Okay, you can change the presentation, there is no need to worry about that. 600, so I can say this 600. So now your cost will be this 650, this and this. When you add this, you will get your total cost, that is 650, 120 plus 600. So your total cost will be 1370. What will be your total sales? It is again very easy, that will be 210 multiplied by your selling price, which is 8. So 210 multiplied by 8, you will get 1680 as your total sales. So 1680 minus 1370, you're gonna get 310 as your profit. Now you need to show your cost per unit also and profit per unit also. So your total cost will be divided by 210. Again your profit will be divided by 310 will be divided by the profit of 310 will be divided by 210, and you will get this. So the first requirement will be done, and then accordingly you know the second requirement also, how to do that overall position, take the total and all. The question is manageable. The only thing is it is for 6 months. If you want, I can show you the solution here. You can just take the screenshot and आप घर पे करो, फिर खुद से चेक करो, अगर नहीं आता तो solution देख लेना. I will provide you the solution, that is a better approach. Okay, तो मैं provide कर देता इधर ही, तो you can take the screenshot. So yeah, that is a better approach. We go for this. So So you can take the screenshot part by part if you want. This is the first screenshot you can take. Hello. The question number is maybe the different. That is okay. This question number is in module, like question number 4 in module page 8.9, that is chapter number 8. वो ठीक है, that is there. Okay. Now this is the second screenshot, that is the main solution you can take. Hello. Fine. Having done this, or I can say zoom out. Okay, ठीक है. This will be the. Okay. एक second. एक second. Now you can take the screenshot. It is just for your reference, like कि you have to do at your end. एक बार देख लेने का कि गलत क्या है कि सही क्या है वैसे. I have prepared one total column also, वो जिससे वो टोटलिंग बाद में करना नहीं पड़े करके वहाँ पे. ठीक है, done?
Yes sir.
Now this is like chargeable expenses which is actually overheads. वो ठीक है, बट वो प्रिंटिंग एरर था तो मेरे बच्चों को बोला था तुम भी ऐसे ही रखो कभी अगर इंस्टीट्यूट ने पूछा तो. So overheads divided by वो labor hours, you get cost per hour into, yeah, तो that वो working note number 1 जो हमने पहले बनाया था, it is this. अच्छा ये कर लेते हैं थोड़ा. अच्छा, done?
Yes sir.
Okay, this is overall position. Fine. So you can devote some time, max it will take around 20 minutes because we took 30 no, it will take around 25 minutes for you guys. 25 minutes, it is worth investing. एक बार कर लो, then फिर कभी देखना ही नहीं इस क्वेश्चन को, एक बार कर लो. चाहिए तो इफ यू, हाँ मतलब जैसे भी अपने पास एक बार अगर करने का तो यू कैन राइट इट डाउन, वैसा इट इज अप टू यू. बस एक प्रैक्टिस के लिए एक बार देख लेना, एंड फाइनली वी कैन सी दैट या दिस क्वेश्चन इज डन. वॉट एवर वी हैड टू डिस्कस वो हो गया ये. तो शुरू करते हैं, ध्यान से देखना, एक रैपिड रिवीजन कर लेते हैं. अगर हम बात करते हैं, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट दिस टिल नाउ वी आर डन विद द टू चैप्टर्स, दैट इज चैप्टर नंबर 1 एंड चैप्टर नंबर 2. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट चैप्टर नंबर 1 which was with reference to cost sheets, so it means what you should know is the format of cost sheet. If you talk about the format of cost sheet, your cost of a product will be divided into 3 parts, that is direct cost and your indirect cost. If I say direct cost, there is a direct material, then there is a direct labor, then there is a direct expenses. When I say this, that is your direct cost, you will take the total of this, then you're gonna get your prime cost. If you talk about prime cost, then there are 3 types of overheads: factory, office and selling and distribution. So the first thing what will come is factory overhead. When you add factory overhead, now you will get total factory cost, which is gross factory cost. Why it is gross? Because adjustment with reference to WIP is yet to be made. You need to add and less WIP, that is add opening stock of WIP less closing stock of WIP. After that, the answer which you will get is nothing but your net factory cost, which is also known as works cost. In that case, after factory cost, what comes is QRAP. So what you're gonna write is QRAP minus CRAP. Once that is being done, what you will get is your cost of production. Once you get your cost of production, you need to make adjustment for finished goods, that is add opening stock of finished goods less closing stock of finished goods, and then what you get is your COGS, that is COGS. Then in COGS you add 2 things. These are your 2 overheads we can say which are being added, that is your selling, first administration, then there is a selling and distribution, office and administration and selling and distribution. Once that is being added, you get your total cost, which is also known as cost of sales. Then profit is being added, then you get your selling price, that is sales value we can say. Acha. Now few things which we need to take into consideration are those, like if I talk about this till here, like if you want to calculate CPU, till cost of production, there is one thing. If you want to calculate CPU after COGS, there is another formula. If you want to calculate CPU up to cost of production, the formula will be total cost, that is total column divided by quantity produced. Acha. If you want to divide here, if you want to calculate CPU, that it will be total divided by quantity sold. Acha. Then sir, how do you calculate this closing stock of finished goods? It is nothing but closing stock quantity into cost of production per unit, whatever is there in cost of production, that is the formula. So that is how. And if the question is silent, that we know that administration will be always the administration this. Okay, now after that, having done this format, if I talk about this, that is second chapter, that is there are 2 parts. One is unit costing and one is batch costing. whether it is unit or batch, one thing we know that is here the cost sheet, it is nothing but extension of cost sheet. When you talk about unit costing, we need to remember now here there are three types of costs which we are going to deal with, which is a variable cost, semi variable, then there is a variable cost, then there is a fixed cost, then there is a semi variable cost. If you talk about a variable cost, the variable cost remains constant in per unit. The cost which is constant in per unit is variable. The cost which is constant in total is a fixed. The cost which is neither constant in per unit nor in total is semi variable. When the cost is semi variable, always you will make one working, which is nothing but your change in cost upon change in units, or I can say quantity. Then you will get variable cost per unit over here, and accordingly the solution will be presented. Or I can say that in simple words, when the question comes on this, when the question comes on this part, you will have to make two working notes. The working note number 1 will be classification of the cost, and working note number 2 will be semi variable cost. You will make two working notes, then you will make your own cost sheet. Then the question can come on the batch costing. When I say batch costing, is nothing but your cost will be calculated for one batch. We did one basic question, then there was one extra question where you will first calculate overhead amount in the first working note, then you will make your normal cost sheet, and the things will be done. Then one overall position. So that is the summary as to what we did. If you want, if you just take the screenshot, yeah, that is the summary which you can see. That is the summary. Like, we can say that in 6 minutes we did this much. Yeah, it was like the best way. Acha, the one more thing which we can say that this summary is done.